Hello, everybody out there. Hopefully, you can hear us. Ole Miss in Florida about to kick. We won't be doing live play-by-play. We're just going to kind of watch this with you. And cheers.
You made it. It's like this.
Amen.
That ball in the air right there, and it went. Whew.
I did.
Okay,
I kind of
all
felt
right,
myself.
all right.
I kind of felt myself
Yeah.
exhale a little.
Let's see. I'm still trying to get the stream up. We sort of centered ourselves a little bit.
Plumlee and Corral on the field at the same time. Looks
Yeah.
like Plumlee split right.
So we cashed that bingo card today.
So we got that right on.
Yeah, we got that
Corral.
one. That one's not bad. We figured that one out, if nothing else, on this. A lot of very quick. You knew we were going to go tempo. I kind of forgot that was.
I'm going to you only here so I can move my light.
Trying to get everybody acclimated there. It was just a complete design run for Plumlee. And we heard it early in the preseason that was going to be a thing. You know, early on, they said they've got some design runs. They were going to work on him from a standpoint of staying in the pocket if he's throwing. But if it was going to be a run, they wanted it to be more of a design run. They worked on it a lot bit, but that one picked up nothing. If anything, might have even lost a yard there on that play. So are all the players wearing the mask down around their neck?
Yeah, supposedly you have to wear the mask when you're on the sideline. You know that's not going to get enforced as the game goes on.
Okay.
So they're going to Plumlee in the third and
Penalty, I'm assuming.
yeah, I'm guessing. We'll try a little. I think we can have sound on in the background. That's not violating.
Is that picking up at all?
I'm listening on my headphones and I can't hear it, so I think we're okay.
Okay. Can y'all hear the play-by-play in the background? Because the sound would help us out a pretty good bit, but I don't know. If it's a problem, we can kill it, but I'd rather not.
Yeah, and I don't want it to be so loud through our broadcast that YouTube could get on us.
Anything to keep that from.
Yeah. JM, thanks so much for the super chat, bud. Really appreciate that. We're glad we were able to keep you entertained through March, but we're glad this is here to take over for us. And that's what he's good at, right there.
So quick, he finds seams.
Yeah, he's good at 3rd and 1 and that kind of thing. Webb, thank you, buddy. Appreciate you. Webb Moore, an awfully generous gift there. Congrats to both of you for making it to football season. We all made it. That was to Plumlee, by the way, at wide receiver.
He
didn't catch it.
Okay.
The ball hit the ground, but that's what they had designed there. It says they moved 12,000 people during COVID for the Coast Guard. Been a complete blessing work-wise for him.
It could have been caught. He had to change his route, though. The ball didn't come out very well.
He got hit
Yeah.
during the throw. There's another to Plumlee.
Somebody's asking for a time check. We're at 13:10, 13:09, 13:08, 13:07, 13:06, 13:05. Snap at 13:04.
I like that they're giving Corral some confidence-building plays early.
Look, it's only been 5-6 plays, whatever it is. We are seeing, though, what Lane is about, which is simply get the ball to your best players in space over and over and over again. Like he's great at figuring out mismatches, but so much of it is simply just, hey, that guy's good, get him the ball. I mean, as dumb as that sounds, a lot of coaches overthink it.
And I know what people say, that it's not fair to compare Jerry and Ely to Reggie Bush, and I'm not, but there's a lot of similarities there. I mean, I'm not saying he's as explosive as Bush, because Reggie Bush was a unique, incredible player.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of similarity in the way that you could use him. So a bunch formation with Mingo there at the bottom of the screen.
Ooh.
That's a flag, isn't it?
Yep. There it is.
Got to be.
Targeting.
He's we're going to have a little review here. He might his game might be done. It might be mass time for him. See the velocity he had on that ball?
You do at least hear some crowd. I do like that. You're at least getting some kind of reaction.
I wonder if that's piped in at all. I don't know.
I mean, I wouldn't think so off that, though.
I wouldn't think.
Because you wouldn't be piping in off a targeting penalty.
Right.
Yeah, see, that's just normal reaction stuff.
Yeah,
that's
you're right. And it's not bad. There's some people there. A lot of powder blue. Yeah, I think that's going to get held up.
It looked pretty textbook there.
Yeah.
I think that's...
That was an easy call. I think the only reason that took a split second was
even the defensive guy
he had to reach for it.
Well, even the defensive guy kind of did this, and it was like, okay, yeah, probably. Like it was sort of like, yeah, sure.
But he's able to put velocity on his throws that it's not about Plumlee, but Plumlee can't make that throw.
And they're running Plumlee all over the field. They've got him playing some wide receiver. They've got him doing some stuff to the backfield. I mean,
yeah,
it's creative. It's good. It is the one thing that's kind of weird for me because I'm not used to it because we're used to seeing so much practice. I'm almost having to put a roster up because I don't remember all the numbers. I'm seeing guys on the field and having to go, I haven't been out there. I don't. It's not just that normal mental thing where you completely understand it. I mean, I'm seriously pulling a roster up. I saw in our stream during the pregame show that Corso looked really badly again. I'm surprised he's still doing it. I thought they would have let him ride off in the sunset with a really good career at the end of last year.
You would think.
I mean, I
don't know what he really adds to the broadcast anymore.
I don't know why you're putting him through this at this point. That was Drummond, by the way, on the defenseless receiver.
Oh, is that Ontario?
Yeah. Welcome to college football, where we have the 4.5-minute commercial breaks, by the way. So there'll be plenty of downtime here as we get through this game.
We had a viewer watching the pregame show from Italy.
We did?
We were international for scoreboard business.
We were attempting to drink mimosas, but Neal first couldn't open the champagne bottle and then couldn't find the orange juice. So we've had to call some audible.
Straight champagne. That was upheld. He's gone, by the way.
Okay.
They got it right. I don't have a problem with the 2 or 3 minute review on that because you
get that one right.
Yeah, and you are kicking a player out of the game. You want to get it right.
So.
Ooh.
Oh, so we missed plays. It's actually 4th and 3.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, he said they played before.
Oh, okay.
They didn't wait for the TV time. They didn't stay on the red clock.
Well, here we go. Lane Kiffin said touchdowns, not field goals. He's going for it. And I don't mind this at all. You're a 2-touchdown underdog. Have fun.
I have a problem with this one, actually.
Okay.
Even if they score 7, I thought early on get the 3. I really did. Get off to a start, get a lead, let your defense take the field with a lead. I thought was probably pretty important right there, actually. And I tried to get that out before the snap came in case he threw a 20-yard touchdown pass. Yeah, that one, it felt like a team with some confidence there where you felt like that was one to try to get.
So now we see Ole Miss's defense, and I can tell you internally this is the concerns are here.
Yes, the officials did not wait on the TV timeout.
Oh.
They moved ahead. So it wasn't the broadcast fault. The officials started the clock prior to the red hat guy being off the field.
Well, that wasn't good. I've never seen red hat guy get ignored before.
Red hat guys are very powerful. Other than basically saying they were the 85 Bears, Edgar said they're going to run the ball a pretty good bit today.
Touche.
I mean,
yeah.
Whew. I mean, Lane's pretty good at offense, but Dan Mullen, man. I mean. That's been the thing. They like the linebackers, but can the defensive line get pressure? Can they keep people off the linebackers? I mean, up front is what is just.
That is a clean pocket right there.
I mean, he's just hanging out.
Yeah, he's got all the time in the world, able to get his feet set. Pretty good play there by Ryder Anderson.
Mark in the stream says, nice start, Auburn. What happened? We don't have that on yet.
I need to put that up. I knew there was something I was forgetting to do.
No pressure, just complete clean pocket.
Yeah, 23. Who's that? It was a good play
to knock it out of there.
Yeah, Ja'Cory Hawkins. But yeah, that has to be a concern early. That Trask is able to get his feet set. He's able to take time. He's able to go through his progressions. He's able to really be comfortable there. There's no one rushing him at all. Someone asked about Dean Leonard. I have not seen him out there.
Can't get pressure. I mean,
no, he had 6 seconds there. Yeah. You can't surrender that.
Gus punts on 4th and 1 from the 45. Kentucky gets it, goes down immediately, scores up 7-0 on the Tigers at Jordan-Hare. Good play by Tisdale. Another time check. People asking 8:36. Well, we'll do the time check when the clock starts. Currently stopped. 8:35, 8:34, 8:33, 32, 31, 30, 29. Tisdale by far been the most active player on Ole Miss's defensive front.
He has, yeah. Killicam says is Sam on a pitch count. I don't know if he's on a pitch count or not, but he did not get a lot of preseason practice, so you got to wonder just what kind of game shape he's in. Showing pressure.
Came out.
Drop out of some of it. Oh, that was a good call. Oh.
They called interference on that?
Yeah, I mean, it was a good play call, not a good call, and then they called interference. I'll have to see a replay. I didn't see it live. I love the play call, though. They fooled Trask there. Oh, that's awful. That's terrible. That's terrible. You can't make that call. That's egregious.
You say great call?
That's what they said. That was a bad call as a former defensive player.
Was that McElroy? That?
Yeah.
I mean, I know we're a quarterback and all, but
Well, Greg loves him some Greg.
Greg does like Greg, doesn't he?
Greg likes Greg a lot. One of those deals he makes love to his wife, and when it's over, he says, "You're welcome."
It's a very Tom Brady kind of thing, isn't it? Without the accolades, it's like
You're welcome.
it's like
I'm sure you enjoyed that.
could have been a push off.
Yeah, it could have been an OPI.
Mm-hmm.
Gus Malzahn dressed up as Pat Dye today.
Is he?
First Auburn game since Pat Dye passed.
That's good. I have no problem with that.
No, that's appropriate.
Larry Joe says Greg gives his wife a comment card already filled out, just needs her signature.
All excellent marks.
Yeah. Just can't get pressure.
No, the pocket's just too clean. Got to get more athletic on the defensive front. Got to get more athletic on the front seven, just across the board.
Florida doing the two things it wanted to do was long drives, keep Ole Miss's offense off the field.
Yeah, they wanted to run the football.
That was the 11th play of the drive there.
They want to run the football, control the clock, and control the line of scrimmage. And at least on the offensive side of the ball, they've done it. Now, Ole Miss had a good initial drive. And you see, though, how difficult it would be to win a game like this one. That's why I don't have a problem going for the 7 when you had a shot at it.
Good point. Cheerleaders should be in powder, too. Kind of got there.
Yeah, I thought he was about half a yard short.
Probably got to stop him twice here.
Spot it just outside the 1. Good call. Here you go.
Oh. Good play.
Really good play.
Good play call.
Trask is a good quarterback, and that's a good play call.
Yeah.
Auburn just scored also, by the way. Auburn.
A little track meet there, 7-7.
Actually, the first and goal inside the 1.
Okay.
But, yeah, headed to 7-7.
Yeah, I mean, Florida's a top 5 team. It's legitimate. They're good.
Yeah, no, they're very good.
Mullen has had some weird program management things, and that's got to clean up. I mean, they do have some stuff going on, but from a pure roster standpoint, they've gotten better and better in every year, and it looks good.
So 7-0 Florida, 5:48 to go in the first quarter. That's about what I expected out of Ole Miss's defense early. They're going to have to get really creative.
Frankly, you just bring it and hope you get there. So,
Yeah.
like, they're going to have to kind of play for turnovers, play for sacks, play for some chaos. Here's the one thing. If they score, at least let them do it quick. Get the ball back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah.
that's actually the worst-case scenario there, these 12, 13-play drives where they convert some third downs. They get a – now, look, here's the thing, too, though. Ole Miss did stop them. It was a crappy penalty.
That's a good point.
You would have gotten up. You get the field goal. It goes 3-0 right there. That's a whole different deal. So was a complete and utter disaster on that drive.
Auburn scored, went for 2, and got it. 8-7 Auburn, 4:30 to go in the first quarter.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. All you guys in the stream, appreciate it. What are we doing? Do you first quarter at 11:25? Are we drinking things? What are we doing?
No, I am.
Are we having you just like settled in with like the beer? Are you doing the mimosa? You doing the Bloody Mary? Are you already pouring the straight bourbon? What's the call at 11:25 a.m. on a Saturday? We have to talk for the next like 6 hours, so yeah, a little bit of everything's good point in the stream. There's a little bit of 4-3, a little 3-4. They're moving around linebackers and ends a good bit. There's nothing set there.
They're running a pro-style defense.
Got a mimosa.
So a lot of this is recruiting oriented.
Got mimosa misspelled. I love you anyway. Somebody going with the Basil Hayden Dark Rye again this morning. I saw it in our Twitter feed last night, going back this morning.
You were asking about that.
I was. I've never had it. I was curious. And I don't mind Basil Hayden. It's not a bad, if you're just trying to get into a little bit of a rye because it's a blend, it's not an awful early, not a bad price introduction to that. So if you're not ready to go full rye, Basil Hayden's not a bad choice. Like I said, also, if you don't have any rye and it needs cocktails, it's a good Basil Hayden and Canadian Club are two really good mixtures there that can get you by if you need rye.
Our friend Hogan Gidley says he likes the jerseys, but they need a pop of red. I couldn't disagree with Hogan more. He sent me a text that said that. I disagree.
Name dropper. Oh, sorry, man mosa. I apologize, Ethan. You're right. What's in the man mosa? I apologize.
Our friend Hilden's asking us a question about our trucker caps. He wants to know, he says he has a conish head and a lot of hats don't fit. They sit too high. Do you know how our hat will fit?
I think our hat is going to fit very similar to the hats that I currently have on from the Rogue. I think it is the exact same profile as what I am currently wearing. I think they fit pretty true. I do not think they sit overly tall. I think they are low profile for a trucker hat. Okay. That is my belief.
Well, I just told Hilden that in the DM.
Oh, sorry, beer and orange juice. Okay, I didn't know that one. All right, fine.
You can mix beer with a lot of things.
I mean, Kansas State sucks. Like,
yeah.
I what's up with the going for 2?
I don't know.
Is it a tribute thing? Then have a kicker? We just decided there was a scheme thing there? What's
they
up?
Just said, hey, we think we can get it. And they got it. So Ole Miss back on offense. Well, I love Ely.
I mean,
I love Jerry Ely. I just think sky's the limit.
He's not a bad baseball player, but his career is right where he's sitting right now.
Yeah, no, he's
the guaranteed money is doing that.
He's an NFL player in a pro-style offense. It's a pretty big moment right here in terms
This
of just,
don't let it get away from you.
Third
right
and
here.
1. You don't want to have to give Florida the ball back after they just ate 6, 7 minutes off the clock. And they got it. Got it.
3 straight runs.
Florida's offensive line looked really good on that first possession. So far, Ole Miss's offensive line has played really well.
Ooh.
That's Matt making a bad decision.
You got to just
if there's nothing there, you got to get rid of it. That's a QB sack.
Yeah, there's no way you roll out here. You get rid of it, you stay there. Everything's flowing right. Stay right there. There's no reason to roll back out of the pocket left at that point. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. Ooh.
Merry Christmas. Was that Tyler Knight?
Yeah, looked like it.
Oh,
I do like the little counterplay, though.
That play, there'll be a whole story written about that play. Headline: Oxford.
That called some dust up last year, Neal. I mean, we had a day on that one.
We did.
I wasn't in there for that day. Multiple people called me, though.
I was there.
Oh, I know. Oh, wow.
Hell of a throw.
That was a big boy throw in a window right there.
That was an NFL throw.
Yeah.
That ball had some serious velocity on it.
Well, his arm's never the problem. I mean,
and they're moving quick, which is it's causing Florida some lineup issues. Wow.
Two huge plays back to back.
And that's why Matt Corral's the quarterback. He just made 2 throws that I'm not convinced Plumlee can make. The first one Plumlee cannot make.
No.
The second
Frankly,
one,
there's a lot of quarterbacks that cannot at the college level.
Well,
make
that's
that
my
throw.
point. That's an NFL arm. Great play call, too. That's a great play call.
I get it's probably 14,000. From a viewing standpoint, it's not bad. It's fine. From a crowd, you hear a little bit, the whole deal. It's okay. It's all right.
Yeah.
Huge here too to get Drummond, because we kind of wondered who's that number 2 guy behind Elijah Moore, who can take pressure off people. Drummond's showing up a little bit early. Obviously, they like Mingo a pretty good bit. That's a good sign for Ole Miss right there, because he just straight up beat Florida on that. It wasn't a coverage bust. He out athleted the Gators in the back half.
Updated the score.
There you go. Yeah, it's kind of bouncing around a little bit.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think anybody cares. Getting better, though.
We were doing this for the Egg Bowl last Thanksgiving. It would have been quite the
Oh, Jesus.
quite the sight.
It just wouldn't have worked.
It wouldn't have worked.
No, it just wouldn't have worked.
You would not have wanted it. Well, people probably would have wanted a camera in here that night.
Yeah, for sure.
We were not completely sober.
No. You know, people are talking about it. We're sitting here getting paid to talk, so we should talk.
Sure.
It just shows you.
What are we talking about?
In 2 offensive possessions.
Okay.
And I don't want to criticize the current kids because they're good. There's some NFL talent on that offense. Frankly, a good bit of it. But it just shows you what it could look like when Kiffin gets his guys in there for, from a consistency standpoint.
Oh, look, he can call plays. I mean, he is one of the most preeminent play callers in college football. I mean, that's not up for debate, no matter what else anybody thinks about him.
And he said this is Levy calling plays. And I'm going to tell you.
Yeah. Levy has some experience, too.
I'm going to take Kiffin's word for it. When he gives a definitive answer, he
that's
sort of
means
he
doesn't lie.
No, he doesn't.
He's not a lie. He'll avoid you.
Well, if you ask him about depth charts or schemes or stuff, he's going to go like, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and give my whole plan away. He'll give you a smart-ass answer.
During every game, Sam gives us pretty good stats. Just said Matt Corral, career touchdown passes. 2 left, 5 middle, 2 right for his 9 career touchdown passes.
Well, that third down throw to keep the drive alive was that was a hell of a throw.
Brian Scott Rippey 2 minutes ago. Who's really, kind of on the beat, but not really. Vindication on the extra point from Luke Logan is his first tweet of the day. Ole Miss fans are very happy he missed an extra point right now. I'll be honest. I mean, that was one of doing a solid. I know Luke. I mean, I can't imagine how bad that felt. Like I'm not want to make a joke of that part, but what hung on that extra point being missed?
It's almost impossible to talk about it.
Because you talk about how you think it was just the Elijah Moore thing in general. They win the game, and it's still hard to make that move, even with.
Oh, that's a good point.
You lose anyway, maybe so in overtime, but you win the game, and it's different.
Auburn and Kentucky going to the second quarter. It's 8-7 Auburn in Auburn.
ECU scores first on Central Florida, but now that game is tied. Campbell scored first on App State, but now that game is tied. Looking around the league a little bit.
Webb says credit Leif for the show name, not completely sober. Yeah, that could happen.
Yeah.
Jonathan Chase and I both are sipping on some champagne. We are celebrating the fact that there is football on our screen and not.
I didn't even notice. Who's kicking off for Ole Miss?
Logan.
Logan is kicking off?
Yeah.
Okay. I know Kell Nation had made a run at that. I wasn't sure what they were doing from that standpoint.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it was Logan. He was listed number 1 on the depth chart.
Okay.
Oh, that's a hell of a double move.
Somebody asked about this earlier. Florida and Ole Miss, when they lined up for the kickoff, all players and coaches just took a knee at the kickoff for their demonstration.
Oh.
That's what it was earlier. So
fair enough.
Yeah, that was it. Pegues playing tight end?
Why would you put somebody in besides Kyle Trask at quarterback?
Well, is this a big play, I think, right here? I just got a text. Yep. Somebody's ahead of me.
Okay. That's Dan Mullen being too cute.
Being stupid. You have the better team. You drove down. You did a good job. Just run your, you know what I mean?
Well, not only that, but your quarterback just had a hell of a good drive.
That's what I'm saying. You're.
That's taking Drew Brees out to put in Drew Brees in his prime, to put somebody else in to run a cute play. Oh, Dean Leonard is out there, by the way. He's been cleared.
Okay.
Either that or Ole Miss has just decided to go double birds at the NCAA. And I'm going to bet that he got cleared.
So info checked out.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Credit to the previous staff. I do think A.J. Finley was a hell of a get.
Yeah.
All right. Now Ole Miss gets cute. And it works. Hugh Freeze says, see, I told you that play works.
That package is called Leopard, by the way.
That one just there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, wow. You know what? That was most wide receivers screw that up when it's covered right away.
Yeah. Well, Drummond's having a day.
Was it picked? I think it was.
Oh, we called a fumble? Or pick?
The way they reacted, it must have been picked. I couldn't tell. Oh, yeah, it's picked.
Oh, wow.
Yep. He's a ball player now. Sometimes you got to tip your hat to the other team. He had a hell of a play. Florida, 49 takeaways the last 2 seasons, tied for 6th in FBS.
Running Wildcat again.
Is Trask hurt?
Yeah, what's going on?
Because if Kyle Trask is not available,
it's a game. This is
we're talking about a different football game. No, he's right there. I don't get this. Is
like on multiple plays.
This is I'm going to be cute. I mean, I know right now this is I'm going to show some confidence in this kid that's in, but that's dumb. If I'm Kyle Trask, I'm pissed right now.
Well, Louisville outrunning the entire Pitt team to the end zone. God, Pitt, you have great new colors. That blue and gold is so good.
I know, and you go with charcoal or whatever that is.
You're the idiots like the Milwaukee Brewers. Just stick with stick with what you do. That's it. Do that. Trask is back in the game, by the way.
Yeah. Got to make that tackle.
Just a terrible tackle.
Got to make that tackle at the line of scrimmage. It was Jay Stanley. Missed that tackle. Got to have that. Picked on Leonard there. Trask is a legitimately good quarterback.
Not everybody wearing the gator, the mask at their neck, but most are.
Yeah. It's fitting for the Gators to wear a gator, right?
It is. Huge early change there. Ole Miss in the red zone, the pick, the missed tackle.
Yeah. Can't have that happen if you're going to pull off the upset. Reminder: we're going to have Pete DeWeese on with us in the second quarter, so that should be fun.
Yeah, coming up soon, obviously.
Yeah.
What the hell? Wonder who makes some of these commercials. So you know what? We're gonna have a mouse eat money.
I don't know.
And somebody goes, you know what? That's great. Run it. Publish it.
You want anything before we get Pete here in a minute?
I'm okay.
You good? Yeah. All right, I'm gonna put you on. Let you all talk to Chase Parham here for a minute. There he is.
What are you doing?
Actually, I put it on me. I need to put it on you. I'm going to go grab something.
Okay. Auburn and Kentucky just starting the second quarter, 14:55 for that one. Ole Miss has not had a chance to return either kick or any of the kickoffs to this point. I kind of wonder what Trask is doing on the headset the entire time because there's no doubt Mullen's pretty much calling everything. It's not a bad play call on first down there, but it's just a step too slow. Something about that doesn't quite. Robert Chapman asking in the thread. Let's see, Robert, any hints to limited time gear coming up? Yeah. I mean, I don't think we're necessarily keeping it a secret. We've got, and it's not going to be limited edition. We've got the pullovers coming here soon, as in like a day. Those look really good, by the way. They are kind of golf cut pullovers. We've got some hoodies and stuff coming for men and women, and then our first limited edition merch. Like I said, I don't think it's anything that needs to be a secret. Ole Miss was a good play out to get a first down, but they just interior of that line getting popped a little bit. We are getting a podcast logo designed. It is a potato log with a headset on. That is our first month of drop. It's gonna look really cool. It's essentially like you would expect. It's a cartoon of a potato log. It's going to have a podcast headset on, and you'll be able to get that on caps, polos. I don't know. We'll see what we get on that, but I haven't decided what all it's going on yet. But that's the first one. End of the first quarter, Miss 7, Ole Miss facing second and long. When we come back here in a minute. But yeah, potato log is our first merch drop that will be only available for a few weeks, and it'll go away.
All right, so I'm going to get Pete on here in just a minute.
Okay.
We'll get his thoughts on what we've seen so far. So I'll turn this down a little so it'll be a little easier to hear him. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Kind of cool.
This isn't bad at all. Yeah, it's easy.
Yeah. It's almost like it was an idea that would work if we just have a football season, and sure enough.
Ryan, that's in the queue. It is not in the first 2 months, but after that, we probably can make something like that happen. That's as far as I've gotten. I've got the first 2 months done for the merch drops.
Oh, a rampage.
Yeah. A couple ideas there percolating around.
I can. Hello, Pete. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
We're good. Appreciate you joining us here for a while.
Yeah, glad to be on.
All right, so we'll start with this as I update the overlay. What have you thought? Just general thoughts so far.
Offensively, you can see a blend of Lebby and Kiffin. There's staples of what you expect from Lebby in the Art Briles UCF offense, but there's definitely some Kiffin influence as well. Defensively, Dan Mullen's one of the best play callers in college football. Ole Miss fans don't always want to hear that, but it's true. And he's just found some really good ways to gain hats and to get some guys open in the passing game.
We'll start with Ole Miss's offense. What is it that they're trying to do? And they've had some success, obviously. They had the turnover there that kind of was a huge play. But what are schematically, what is it that they're trying to do to Florida?
I charted the first drive, and obviously the television missed a few plays. But if you look at just the first drive, what they did, they ran the ball. They're trying to establish the run. They want to be able to run the football. But if you look, there were – the first play, they threw the swing screen out to Elijah Moore. They go quarterback stretch on the second play, quarterback counter on the third play. They go play action and complete on the next one. And then they come back and they go 2 different RPOs in a row where they're using their zone run scheme and they're giving the quarterback a backside option. One was on the swing route, one was with the player in the flat. So, I think they know the middle of the Florida defense is going to be tough, both schematically and from a personnel standpoint. So they're trying to, control the backside edge with some of these easy RPOs, give the quarterback an easy decision. And what that can do is slow down backside defenders. It opens up cutback lanes. The other thing is if they're not patient and controlling the backside edge, it gives you an easy throw to get the ball to a playmaker in space. So I think from a run game perspective, you're going to continue to see that with them, always trying to give an easy throw to the guy out on the perimeter. And so far, most of them have actually been handoffs outside of one throw on the swing, and that was the one to Plumlee that he almost made a guy miss. And then obviously they're using some jet motion and doing some different things. Haven't really seen them hand it much, but even using corral in motion on one play. Passing game wise, Lebby wants to take shots, and so does Kiffin. The touchdown is a design that you see at every level. It's been a staple. It's just been one of those play designs that over the years has kind of changed as offenses have spread out a little bit more. But Drummond had the real nice cop route. They used the motion to try to hold the free side safety. And basically the quarterback's got an easy read. You read the front side safety, and if he's down, if he sits, and doesn't gain depth, you're going to try to get behind him with the double move from Drummond. And if the safety does get depth, then you have a crossing route coming underneath that you hope can separate from man coverage. And they got the look they wanted. The safety froze on the orbit motion by Elijah Moore because, defenses have to be conscious of where he is on the field because of his ability. And Drummond did a great job. They showed the end zone shot on television, and he did a great job of selling the corner route, getting the corner to turn his hips before getting back inside.
Yeah, he ran a really good route. For people that are trying to keep up with us, there's 13:30 left to play. Ole Miss just got called for a false start. It'll be
3rd and 7-ish.
3rd and 7-ish. Ole Miss in Florida territory. All right, Pete. If you're guessing here, what's coming from Lane Kiffin and Jeff Lebby on this 3rd down call?
Well, my television's a little bit behind yours, which is regretful, but
that happens.
3rd and 7. A lot of what Lebby does, a lot of what they do in the Browse system is built on the quarterback and the receiver having an understanding of route adjustments. And the way they teach it is extremely efficient. That's why they have so much success. It's not necessarily West Coast style or old run and shoot where kids are going to have a million options. But I could easily see them, dialing up one of their basic pass plays where you're going to give either an outside receiver or an inside receiver, essentially a 3-way go. They have built-in man beaters. They have built-in zone beaters. And if you watch UCF the past couple of years, or if you watch Kiffin's offense ever since he worked with Kendall Browse for a short time, you see a lot of that scheme influence in what they try to do.
He ran for the first down and then had another first down on the throw across the middle and then a little bit of busted play there, but seemed to get a little bit out of it at least.
Yeah, the snaps have been high the last several snaps, and that one was in particularly high. And Corral actually made a really good play to get 2 yards out of that. That could have been a disaster, a drive killer.
I apparently am just catching up with you guys because I just saw the same thing. So, that's one of the things, and go back because I did just see the 3rd down was, they actually borrowed a concept that LSU really made a ton of mileage out of last year. And it's not new to LSU. They certainly aren't the first ones to do it, but it's one of those, college football is just like anything else. It's trendy. And when something hops up on a trend, that's a nice play design right there.
I was going to ask you, so we just got the touchdown. Corral rolled to his right.
Found Drummond again.
Drummond again, who right now Dontario Drummond is writing a thank you letter to he should write it to me. I'm the one that got Lane Kiffin hired. I'm the one that started this idea. This was my idea.
The ridiculous part of this is that you're not necessarily lying, which is what's funny about this.
I wrote
the way that week went. We know some stuff we've never necessarily aired out, but I mean, it's not wrong per se.
I mean, Dontario should see me and give me a socially distanced hug right now.
Well, it's good to know you'll be invited to the Drummond family Christmas then.
You damn right I will, and I'll be happy to go. I like Dontario. He's a nice kid. I'll be happy to go to his family Christmas. All right, now that I'm through being ridiculous, although I'm kind of half serious, what was that play?
So they go play action, obviously. It was a great block by Connor on the end. He's responsible for the man on the edge coming out of the fake right there. And it's the television camera's a little bit tight. What it looked like was Drummond was on the outside. I couldn't tell who the slot was. So the outside receiver, little.
We lose Pete.
Receiver's going to run a
corner. There he is. There he is.
So you tell the quarterback, if you get man-to-man coverage, you throw the corner route to the slot receiver. And if you get zone, you look underneath. So right there, what it looked like to me was that they were playing some type of zone. The safety got carried out by the corner route, which is what you want. And the linebacker that in theory is going to be responsible for that underneath area got sucked up by the play action or pulled out wide by the tight end. It gave a nice window for Drummond. And, typically you don't find guys that open down in the red zone, but he did a nice job. When you're down there, you just got to catch the ball and get vertical.
Okay, unfortunately for Ole Miss, they can't spend the entire game on offense. The way that the game works, I know you're aware of this since you coach it, but I'm going to remind you that once you score, you have to kick the ball. You are allowed to onside kick it, and right now, quite frankly, that might be a good play call. But you have to kick it to the other team, and they get possession until you stop them. Ole Miss has had a difficult time defensively stopping Florida. What's going on there?
Well, here's what I'll say. First of all, anybody that's followed Ole Miss in the last few years, they know that there were a couple years where you watch games and it's just like, what is going on? And as a coach, when you will watch games at times during those years, and I'm not going to blame it on the coaches, I'm not going to blame it on the players because I'm not in the meeting rooms, I'm not watching film with them. But there were times where, guys weren't fitting plays properly. The scheme was maybe out-gapped at times, so they just didn't have enough hats at the point of attack. Right now, and Dan Mullen does as good of a job as anybody in college football of getting extra hats at the point of attack in the run game. He also does a great job of exploiting certain coverage tendencies, and he's done that for a long time. And so right now, the thing that's encouraging is obviously, they haven't gotten really a lot of stops or anything, but what's encouraging is plays are being made by the Florida offense. Plays aren't being bust by the Ole Miss defense, at least not glaringly, right? Even the big
run right Trask is really good, and they've got athletes over there, and it's worth noting. Yes. Yeah, they're a good teame.
Yeah, you look at the big run right there at the end of the first quarter by the number one. Ole Miss has guys there. You just have to make the tackle, and against good players, sometimes they're going to miss. That's what's going to happen. And so, but that's the big thing for me is Ole Miss has had people there. Maybe you'd like to see a guy stay in coverage a little bit longer, and you'd like to see the pass rush be a little bit more effective. But the bottom line is, I think everybody that follows the program understands that, there is some recruiting to be done. In the defensive side of the ball, there's some talent, but there's recruiting that needs to be done there as well. You do see some variation. You see, I think you see some of the influence of the what Michigan has been doing in the past and kind of their odd stack and some of the tight front and pressures that they use. But you also see, we're seeing a good bit of cover 3 right now, which has been a staple of Durkin for a while now. I had an opportunity to sit down and meet with him a few years back when he was at Florida and was recruiting one of my players. And together, the player and I would watch some games and look at what they do and talk about how we thought he might fit in that system. And, so what you're seeing from a coverage standpoint, is you're seeing a lot of cover 3, and you're seeing them trying to get the extra hat in the box to defend the run game and keep things in front of them. There's just going to have to be times where they're going to try to live to get them in 3rd and long, and then they're going to have to be good with their pressures to get there.
I've never seen a broadcast screw up with the clock guy as much as we are early on. Again, they cut in and miss 2 plays because they're not staying with the red hat.
Well, I can tell you this. If you think it looks bad on Saturday, imagine what it looks like on a Thursday night JV game or a Friday night high school game. There are several times during the game where you look at the coach next to you and you go, well, why didn't the insurance salesman call that one? Because these guys, they're not full-time. They didn't have a preseason. So there's going to be kinks for them to work out too. I've certainly never seen that.
Another nice play by A.J. Finley, broke up a pass over the middle of the field. It looked like the receiver was open. That was going to be a successful play for the Gators, and Finley got his hands on it.
What do you make of the way they've kind of worked John Rice in all over the field at this point?
I think it's interesting. I mean, obviously you start the game with both of them on the field, and, people obviously have their thoughts about his ability under center, but you can't deny that the young man he's certainly a gifted athlete. And so, if they have found a way inside that locker room to get both of those kids to buy in and believe in their role and what they can potentially do to help the team, it really opens up so much of what they can potentially do as an offense. And right now, that's certainly how it looks, because we've seen him at quarterback. We've seen him in motion from a wide receiver position, and then we've even seen Corral at motion from a wide receiver position on one play. It makes it really hard on the defense because, it's easy if you're preparing for them and they're rotating because you can sub packages. If you can change your coverage. If you think that, hey, they're less likely to throw the ball with Plumlee at quarterback, and so you sub in the extra D lineman, you go into a man coverage situation, and you just say, we're going to force you to beat him with your arm. Well, it's a lot harder to do when they're moving at a really good tempo and both guys are on the field and they're just changing their alignment from snap to snap. So from a defensive game plan standpoint, it really can affect your ability to call the game.
Ole Miss apparently gets a stop here. It looks like Florida's going to punt. Ole Miss was the defensive coaches were saying punt safe, meaning we're not trying to make a play here. No offsides or anything like that. Yeah, just get the ball, and that'll be a victory.
One of the interesting things to me, both offenses, so, both coordinators will play zone, but they mix in a decent amount of man-to-man, play cover one. Both offenses are using stacked receivers and condensed formations to try and get the defense to kind of tip their hat a little bit. When you stack those receivers, the defense has to make a decision how they're going to play it. If they're in man-to-man, there's 3 or 4 variations that guys can typically work and check to. But in zone coverage, it presents itself a little bit differently. The quarterback's going to be able to identify it earlier. So I think it's interesting that both offenses are kind of sharing some of the same game plan philosophies, both trying to figure out what they're going to get coverage-wise from the other team.
Why are you having to identify it earlier if you're the defense, figure out how you're playing if it's stacked? I mean, I guess my limited football IQ, you would think you kind of stay in one place. What makes that more difficult for the defense versus them being more spread out?
Well, so if you can go back and think is Florida got into empty down in the red zone a couple plays before their touchdown, and they stacked the tailback right behind the receiver. So Ole Miss was trying to play man-to-man. So what happened is you have a corner who's man-to-man on the receiver, and as the back motions out, you get a linebacker or a defensive back that bumps with him. So as those two guys are stacked up, if they're 5 yards apart, it's pretty simple. The corner presses, the linebacker plays off, and you've got your man. If they're tighter than that, you have to play some type of an alert system or some type of a lock system, right? So what Florida did was the corner was locked on to the receiver that was on the line of scrimmage. The DB that's off the ball now is responsible for the running back. So as the receiver releases outside, the running back mirrors his path, which forced both defenders outside. The second the hip turned, from the inside defender, the running back just turned it into a slant route. So if it's zone, right, then what you get is the corner off. You get the backer down, and he's going to collision, but now you have multiple eyes because you're also going to gain another pair of eyes, probably from a linebacker in the box or a safety sitting on the goal line, that are going to see that slant and be in position to react to it, while at the same time protecting the fade route with the DB over the top. Because they're playing man, when you ice or lock on to the front man, the point guy in that stack, now you put the second defender in a real bind. Because if both receivers release outside, he's got to fight over the top and try to get out there. So as they showed the outside release, the guy goes to fight. Suddenly you're coming back underneath. It's when you start doing that stuff against man coverage, it really bars a lot of principles from how you might try to attack a basketball team that's playing man-to-man defense.
When you're watching this thing on TV, what are you looking at pre-snap? I mean, you're just kind of chilling on the couch or whatever, but where are your eyes going as they're getting ready to take the snap?
Yeah, for me, it really all depends on really who I'm watching and what I'm watching it for. With Ole Miss and not being sure how they were going to handle personnel and some of that stuff, is I've really paid very little attention to how Florida's necessarily aligning to things or what they're doing. On the flip side of it, when Ole Miss is on defense, I like watching how Dan Mullen chooses to do certain things. Because he finds a couple of ways every game to really attack people. So it really depends. It's hard on a television copy to really see everything. Typically the camera angle's too tight. So you'll see some, but you can't, so you almost have to focus your eyes a little bit. And I'm not a guy that's going to record a game and go back and watch it. If I get a week, somewhere down the road where I've got free time, and I've got a buddy that's got a coach's copy of it and I can get my hands on it, I'll watch it then, because then I can watch it at my leisure and kind of control the tempo and look at multiple angles.
If you had if you had an all 22, would you use it just on your normal game?
Oh, there's no question.
Okay.
There's nothing greater than an all 22, especially one that in high school football now in practice, and even in college practices, colleges are a little different because they have the film tower spread out all over the field. And but like in the high school game, drones. Every high school coach in the country that is trying to get great practice film uses a drone, and it's an all 22, what they call a butt shot. It's from behind the perspective of the offense, and you can see every player on the field, and it is 100% the best way to watch football.
Merry Christmas. Number 51, Miller for Florida, just
linebacker blew the play up in the middle. Are you with us there, Pete? Did you catch that?
I'm a little bit behind.
Okay.
I think
Tyler Knight will remember this moment tomorrow.
The bad news for Ole Miss is had Miller not done it, the next guy would have done it. They were actually lined up almost like a train there, 1, 2, 3 in the hole.
Well, and so Ole Miss has used a lot of zone schemes.
Oh, no.
So on this one, they whoever the right guard is, he gets beat right there. But the big issue is they don't get their combo up to the line of scrimmage. Florida's defensive line is really good, and so right there, they're trying to work a combo to Miller, and they just don't get to him. You're always going to tell your offensive lineman focus on the down lineman first, because if you handle a defensive lineman, that blocks the linebacker, and you don't come off unless you have to. And right there, the linebacker made a good read, but Ole Miss their combo was completely ineffective right there.
People have wanted us to make sure that we give them a time. We're in the commercial break, 7:29 to go in the second quarter.
We just went to a Papa John's commercial from a Campbell's soup commercial.
Yeah, Campbell's soup to Papa John's. They're folding the pizza over and making it some sort of a.
Looks so cheesy. I mean,
I got to tell you, if that's where you're going for lunch today, God bless you. Head to Rafters. Do better. Be better. Sorry, Pete.
Hey, I just wish I had Rafters in Alpharetta, Georgia. We've got plenty of good options. We don't have that.
That's true. So on a day like today, when you're watching a game, are you able to sit back and relax and enjoy a game as a quote fan, end quote, or are you always football coaching in your mind, even if you're trying not to?
There's a little bit of both. In my younger days, I would sit there and get frustrated and stew over what I'm seeing and scream at coaches. I spend most of my time now just screaming at announcers.
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys that get paid a lot of money that don't really know what they're talking about.
Well, and it's why you're on. It's why you're here right now. This is a thing of mine. It drives me absolutely crazy in my field when media guys who don't know, and there are some who do, but when media guys who don't really know what they're talking about start breaking down film and criticizing coaches, I get as mad at that as I would if coaches started breaking down columns and criticizing them, because I'd want to say, all right, big boy, here's a laptop, go for it, in much the same way that a coach would say, all right, here's film, tell me what I'm looking at.
It's part of it. I mean, Lord knows in the days of COVID and even before, we're in the stands on a Friday night and we can hear every word a fan says, just like I'm sure they can hear every word I say. And I don't doubt that the coaches are hearing more than they would normally hear in Vaught-Hemingway today, with a smaller capacity. But the reality is this: you can know a ton of football, and that doesn't mean you're going to watch something and be right. So if you don't know a ton of football and you watch it, the chances of you being right are obviously much lower, because there are certain concepts that almost everybody in the country runs. That doesn't mean they run it the same way. They may not read it the same way. Mike Leach today against LSU is going to call mesh at least 15 times, and he'll call 3 different versions of mesh. Well, you can talk to Mike Leach and he reads it one way, and you can talk to the guys that he was with at Valdosta State back when they were really getting that thing rolling, and you can talk to Hal Mummy. They read it a different way. So, to some degree, I think it's hard to be critical. When you don't know how they're teaching it, you don't know what the progression is. Even if you recognize what you see, that doesn't mean you actually know what you're seeing. And that can be hard. It's easy to get frustrated as a fan, and I'm sure in your profession, if you're covering a team as well and you're trying to provide, quality resources to your readers, but it's hard sometimes.
What do you make of the state LSU game today?
Listen, people, I know they talked about it on game day this morning. Arik Gilbert, freshman tight end for LSU.
Yeah.
Just go ahead and learn his name. The kid's unbelievable. Fortunately, I did not have to coach against him when he was in high school, but I certainly saw a good bit of his film, as we did have an occasional common opponent, and the kid is absolutely special.
Chris Landry and I do a SEC podcast called SEC Football and Beyond, and he was raving about Gilbert yesterday. He'd been to a couple of LSU scrimmages and just said, "Look out."
The kid is unbelievable. Look, they're loaded with talent. Mississippi State has talent. To me, the thing with State is going to be you're trying to rebuild the roster entirely. And so what did they have on campus that fits what they want to do? Because if they didn't have those right guys, now there's going to be some young guys that are going to play. I mean, Tulu Griffin, that's from my hometown of Philadelphia, Mississippi, is a freshman, and from what I hear, is probably going to be in the slot a lot for Mississippi State. And the kid's an electric athlete, and if he can adjust to the speed of everything that's going on around him, kids like that have an opportunity to excel. But I have a hard time seeing that roster being ready-made for what he wants to do. I think they have one of the best tailbacks in the country, but they're not a scheme that's tailback friendly. So what does that look like?
Hey, Pete, I have a question, because you're around kids a lot, and you're around kids who are recruited by a lot of schools. You've been all around D1 with your guys. And I know you're not 17, but you're around 17-year-olds. When they look at this product on the field with Ole Miss, your gut feeling, are they attracted to it?
I think so. I mean, right now, if a kid's watching this film and it's the number 5 ranked team in the country and it's an unranked Ole Miss team in their first year, and you're looking at a tie ball game late in the second quarter, if the product continues to look like this, you have an offense that's playing fast, that's shown the ability to spread the ball around, and create explosive plays for multiple positions. I think you see it. I think defensively at the same time, the defense is flying around. They're a little late. They've missed some tackles. The pass rush isn't quite there. So I think not only do you see a defense that looks like it's playing with energy, I think you see one where if you're a young kid, you think I can come in and contribute. And that's clearly something that I think the staff has been using, to their favor. So I think so. I think kids would be excited. I've gotten text messages from our players this morning who are not being recruited by Ole Miss that are like, Coach, these new Ole Miss jerseys are fire.
I was going to ask you, and the kids love the uniforms too, right?
Oh, listen, we had senior night last night. We did it. I mean, last night was our 4th game of the season, and instead of waiting till the end of the year, we did senior night because we're not guaranteed to get 10 games in.
Sure.
And we thought those kids deserved it. And they always ask our kids, what's your favorite memory? And for one of us, it was when we got the new gray uniforms because nobody knew we were getting them. And they were the freshest thing I'd ever seen, like that stuff matters to these kids. They want to be able to go home and wear their gear. And for everybody in their old neighborhood, whether it's a small town or a big inner city, they want everybody to recognize it.
Yeah.
And they want people to be impressed by it. You got programs like Florida that are going to the jump man. And I know there's been a lot of people that have kind of wished for that for Ole Miss. But look, Dan Mullen looks like a goofball when he was at Mississippi State wearing Yeezys with baggy khakis or wearing his Jordans with those baggy khakis. It doesn't matter what he looks like to me because those kids see him trying to assimilate into their culture and wear something that they're saving up to buy.
Yeah.
And that attracts them. That's the bottom line.
It's a great point. It's one of the reasons I think Kiffin gets it. I think kids look at Kiffin and they see themselves a little bit in some of his stuff and the stuff that he wears and does and the way that his social media persona and all of that.
Yeah, I think
that's a hold, by the way. It's coming. It's going to be 10 yards.
I think they relate to him.
Trask, I mean, he's not going to take off running a ton, but he moves really well within the pocket. He kind of buys himself time a little bit. What is that? What, I guess, extra freedom does that give a play caller or a coordinator or whatever? Just because you always pick the best. I get that, but there's a little bit of breeze there where he kind of moves around and buys himself those extra couple seconds to get the guy open.
Yeah, I think I think it's interesting how they use him in the run game. It's not a ton, but they use him enough, right? It's an extra hat the defense has to account for. But even in the passing game, because he moves around well enough, I'm not going to say he's Lamar Jackson and you need to put a spy, or if it's Lamar Jackson, put 2 or 3 spies on him.
Yeah.
But you can't just void the box entirely. If you do, you have to run some type of a game up front with the defensive line to try and prevent there from being just a wide open rush lane. And I think, if the offensive line will continue to develop from Ole Miss, I think you'll see some of the same issues being forced with Corral because he does move around well enough. And I think he and Trask look a little bit differently. And that's one of the big things with Trask is he's such a big body. So even if you get a hand on him, it may not affect him. He's subtle enough sliding in the pocket, and he's got a strong enough base to throw off of that.
He's got a big lower half. He doesn't get people don't give him the credit for how big he is, how strong he is. That is a big body right there.
And it's you made the Breeze comment, Chase, and I'm not a guy that thinks height is that big of a deal. There are other things at the quarterback that can make you a great player, and I don't think height necessarily makes you a poor player. But you look at big-bodied quarterbacks and guys like him, if they have the ability to move at all, it makes them so much tougher to defend. It really does.
You're about to see a touchdown pass. Tell us what you see here. It looks like it's just plenty of time and a win on a route, but you'll know it better than me.
So to the boundary, they gave him a wheel route with the little snag route, and so they've given him a man-to-man option over there. And then what it looks like to the field, I couldn't see both receivers there once their routes got started. What it looks like is they work some type of a switch concept. So either, the inside receiver went out and the outside receiver waited and came, either underneath or over the top of him, or they may have put the number 3 receiver on a double move. It was just hard to tell from the camera angle. Maybe they'll show it again. Mullen loves to get into empty and 3-by-1 formations, because it can be a little bit more difficult at times to mask coverage. And he typically does a good job in his play design of giving easy checkdowns versus zone, but having man beaters built in as well. And so it was really hard to see what Ole Miss was doing. They were playing man into the boundary, it looked like, so you assume it's man to the field, but that's not a guarantee.
There's been no pressure on Trask whatsoever. What's kind of the dial up to at least make him a little bit uncomfortable? Obviously, you're giving up something somewhere, but what's the adjustment here?
I think one of the issues is how often Mullen releases 5 players, right? He's going to get that running back out a lot. And if they're an offense that's committed to releasing 5 guys, and an offense that has as much talent as they have on the perimeter and the speed that they have, it forces you into man-to-man situations. And if I had to guess, I would think that Ole Miss wants to be selective about how much and when they're going to play man-to-man, at least across the board. Because right now it has been a lot of zone defense. And Ole Miss has had guys close. I mean, on that drive leading up to the touchdown, they threw a little curl route into the boundary, and there's 3 guys that are close. But it's hard. I can't imagine what it would be like to prep. And I know Mullen tried to make a big deal out about that this week of, we don't even know what the schemes are going to look like. There's 2 offenses to prepare for and the defense. And, but some of that's still the same case with Ole Miss trying to prepare for Florida. With Kyle Trask, how much looks different than it might have with Felipe Franks and, when he was still in Gainesville. So Ole Miss looks right now like, they're just trying to play zone and trying to make it happen with a 4-man rush. They can add a 5th rusher, but to do that, they're going to have to play a little bit more either like fire zone principles, which can create big plays for the defense but leave you vulnerable in spots. Or they're just going to have to commit to play man-to-man and getting a little bit more aggressive.
Next week, Ole Miss is going to play Kentucky. I know you probably haven't had a chance to watch much of Kentucky and Auburn. Kentucky very clearly wants to play a physical, run-oriented style. This is a completely unfair question. I acknowledge that ahead of time. Does what you see from Ole Miss's defense, will that be difficult for them to defend, or will that be better than what they're facing with Kentucky, where you have a Trask who can play action you and beat you?
The defense is going to look different next week, just plain and simple. I don't watch a ton of Kentucky film, but I have had some opportunity to meet with their offensive line coach. John Slarman's a great coach, great guy. And they have done as good of a job as anybody in the country in the past 2 or 3 years of game planning and scheming things in the run game, because everybody knows where the ball's going and they're still successful. They haven't been good at quarterback, and last year they literally moved a receiver to quarterback, and everybody knew he was going to run the football, and they continued to have success against good football teams. So I think what you'll see next week is some of what you're going to get formation-wise from Kentucky is going to allow Ole Miss to get extra hats into the box, which in theory makes you better against what they want to do in their physical style of run game. Who's starting at Kentucky, or who's starting at quarterback for Kentucky? Is it somebody that they're using their legs a ton, or is it somebody that's a little bit more in the pocket?
It's Terry Wilson. Who's using his legs a lot in this game. Right now, Kentucky has the ball 3rd and goal inside the Auburn 1 with 26 seconds left in the half. Auburn up 8-7. Kentucky obviously threatening with a huge 3rd down play call coming up. 26 seconds to go in the half.
Yeah, I think that you'll see an extra safety in the box, maybe an extra linebacker. What'll be difficult about next week for Ole Miss's defense is your run fits have to change. When Emory Jones is in the game for Florida, other than the arm punt that he threw early in the game, how they're having to fit the run, because you're not concerned particularly about Trask in the option run game, right? But with Kentucky, where they will do both designed runs and have quarterback reads, you're going to have to commit an extra hat in the box to be sound, but you're also going to have to make sure you have somebody accounting for the quarterback in the run game on all snaps. So schematically, it definitely changes the way you're going to approach the game plan.
Kentucky threw an interception on that play, and Auburn ran it back 100 yards for a touchdown.
When they got in the end zone on first down, and the refs missed it.
Refs missed it, yeah. And Ole Miss right now 3rd and 2 with Plumlee in on the package.
And nowhere close.
And there's a holding call to boot. I don't like, Pete, the risk of getting involved in this quarterback thing. I don't like the insistence on using John Rice Plumlee as a change of pace when Corral is playing as well as he's playing.
I don't I can understand that argument. I'm not going to say I agree or disagree with it.
Okay.
Because I don't know. Some of it is, like right there, you hand the ball off, and the hope is probably that his presence at quarterback does enough, to hold the backside defender, to make a guy fit things a little bit differently, because there's not a doubt in my mind that all week long in practice they've been told, hey, we got to watch 10 when he's in the backfield. And so, perhaps that's part of it. The other thing that you have to wonder is, you go back, if it's an I football team, if you're a pro style football team, both quarterbacks run the whole playbook, right? The way the system is set up now, if you don't want to ask Corral to try to run the ball or read things a ton, then you package what you practice, and you package for scenarios. And so part of that decision-making process may have been made last Sunday, and that call was already made last Sunday, because this is the scenario, this is the situation, this is the package, this is what we believe in. And sometimes, especially in the first half of games, you stay on that script as much as you can. And then, you get in the locker room at halftime and the conversation starts to happen of, hey, clearly Matt's hot right now. We can still do this. We've got this built in. And that's where those adjustments start to be made.
One heck of a punt there by Mac Brown.
Yeah, Mac Brown told us in a Zoom call, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, I lose track of the last few weeks, but he said that, he did not like the rugby style stuff. He did it because the coaching staff told him to do it, that he'd rather just be a traditional punter, and he boomed that one. Flipped the field a little bit right there, yeah. So it feels like an awful.
In a huge 154.
Yeah, this is a really big defensive possession.
Who got the ball first?
Ole Miss did.
Oh, then.
Yeah, I believe so.
Even more so then.
So 150 to go in this one. The touchdown, the run back at Auburn, by the way, is being reviewed because looked like he may have stepped out of bounds, but
somewhere along the way or close to a goal line,
at about the 25-yard line, looked like he may have stepped out.
What's your take on DJ Durkin, Pete?
The long real interaction I've had with him is I really liked him. And obviously I wasn't in Maryland, and I don't know enough about any of that to pretend to have a definitive thoughts. But in my experience with him, he really came across as somebody that and just, to kind of be up front was, I took a player down there and they flat out told the player that if you come down here to camp and you do what we think you're capable of, you'll leave with an offer. And the kid liked the idea of playing there. It was one of his dream schools when he was younger. And the kid went down there and balled out. And Durkin called us into his office afterwards. And he flat out said, he said, listen, I'm about to tell you something that I don't want to tell you. He said, I like you. I want you. I want to offer you a scholarship because this decision's out of my hands. Muschamp wanted to go another direction. But in that conversation, you're around that stuff just enough. You can tell when guys are just telling you what they think you need to hear and when guys are being genuine. And I really, as well as the family of the young man that I was there with, were extremely appreciative because Durkin seemed really genuine. And his communication with that young man did not stop. And so leaving that interaction, I understood why he could be a successful recruiter. Statistically and the performance on the field, he had shown that he could be a good defensive coordinator. So, I think that there are going to be people that behind closed doors are going to try to maybe use some of what happened to him in the past against him. But in my experience with him, I think that his personality and his chops as a coach are going to be enough to really be valuable for Ole Miss.
Yeah, my interaction with DJ Durkin, I don't know what I expected, but I was really impressed with him as a guy.
Yeah, really just and look, I watched him coach a little bit, and there were other guys on that staff at Florida at the time that I knew. Kurt Roper was offensive coordinator at that time, and Kurt I had known from when he was at Ole Miss, and we were talking, and I said, what do you think? And he flat out, he said, man, he's a great guy. He said, I've really enjoyed working with him, and yeah, every impression I've had of him, like I said, has been positive.
52 seconds left in the second quarter in Oxford. It's 2nd and 10 for Florida from about their own 28-ish, I think is where the ball is.
Pass rush has looked a little better this drive.
Yeah, 29-yard line. The pass rush has looked better on this drive. They actually hit Trask on that play and disrupted the pocket a little bit.
They got to him earlier in the game. They used a little stunt where they brought the end all the way inside and got late through a gap, and they didn't get a sack, but they got to him. It was the first time I noticed them getting home, and they've kind of gone back to some of that. Here they're showing pressure. There they are bailing out of it. So they're going into spy mode right there, trying to play the check down, and you got to make that tackle.
Yeah, Jalen Jordan got juked out there and created some space. Great throw by Trask. He is a hell of a player.
He's accurate with the football. He's particularly on the underneath stuff. It's on time. You don't see very many just missed balls on the underneath throws.
Right there before that play, 20 for Ole Miss was upset. I guess is that Keedron Smith?
Yeah.
He was upset with there appeared to be a miscommunication there. He did not want one-on-one with 84, and you saw why. He physically just couldn't handle him. It looked like if you watch enough NBA, sometimes you'll see a switch and a really elite guard will get a big man on him, and it's like, no, you're not guarding me. I'm getting to the basket, and it looked like that sort of a play right there.
The hardest position on the field right now in modern football is corner. Everybody's recruiting bigger, faster, stronger wide receivers.
Yeah.
And you're out there on that island, and let's be honest, there aren't many of those guys out there that are 6 foot, 6'2". So many of those guys are 5'10", and it's hard what you get asked to do. And the reality is as well that this is an offensive game. I mean, the defensive backs are at such a disadvantage when it comes to the way that a game is called. You could literally coach a receiver that you push off until they call it and then do it again to see if they call it again. Where it used to be you could coach a defensive back, hey, you mug him until they call it and then make them call it again. You can't coach it that way anymore. You can still be physical. You can still try to use your hands at the college level. But it's become a much harder game between tempo and scheme and just the bodies that you're seeing distributed out there out wide.
Florida now with the football 2nd and 10 at the Ole Miss 16. Trask just getting way too much time, just able to keep plays alive. He's got good feet. We've talked about his arm, but Ole Miss is going to – if Ole Miss is going to have any chance in this game at all, they're going to have to figure out a way in the second half to put more pressure on him, and I don't know that that's possible. I think that might just be an athlete thing at this point.
What's Mullen going to here to try to obviously get in the end zone? But you got one timeout left, and obviously the sidelines.
I would think Mullen's going to go empty. It looks like I'm wrong, but he typically in these types of situations, part of it's going to be is he expecting pressure right here. They're going to, I guess, check and see if it's a catch.
Let's see. I don't think that's a catch. I think that ball's on the ground right there.
I don't know if they'll overturn it.
Let's see. Oh, it's a hard call because the left hand's kind of under it. Stands, yeah, they called it. The last replay made it look like maybe he did have the hand underneath the ball.
If he's expecting to get zone right here, I think he'll try to work something underneath, or on the sideline. If it's man to man right here, he's going to work some type of either a switch or a double move, and probably try to take advantage of the middle of the field.
Clock running with 10 seconds to go. Trice looking into the end zone, and that's a touchdown. That's a hell of a back shoulder throw right there.
And they get the ball after the half.
Yeah, that's a big-time throw right there. There aren't 3 quarterbacks in the league that can make that throw consistently.
That's an even better catch.
Yeah, so 84 is a hell of a player, Pitts. They've targeted him 6 times now, and he has 5 catches.
So he went trips right there, and he put the formation into the boundary. So he put 3 receivers into the boundary, and all he did was just run old school 4 verts, right? So what you're doing by putting the single receiver and putting the big receiver, and I get why the DB wants the push off right there, but they don't call it. If you're a receiver, you do it all day long, and that's why guys, not just Mullen, but even Kiffin and guys like Mike Leach they're willing to throw it 40, 50 times if they need to, because you're not going to get that call. And if you can work that and you've got a big body that can do that, it's stealing.
Yeah.
But so he puts the formation into the boundary right there, isolates a single receiver to the field. So now, again, you're forcing the defense to make a decision. If you're playing man-to-man, you just put your big-bodied best dude out there one-on-one. So Ole Miss is trying to play cover 1 right here. And because there's a single safety, number 21 started cheating to that single receiver. Well, if Trask had to come off of that, that means he's got his slot players on the other side matched up on safeties and linebackers, and probably would have had one of them open. A lot of people, I think of 4 verticals as a Hail Mary type situation, a 3rd and long play. Is you see it in the red zone all the time, and especially when you can do something like that, because, again, you put trips into the boundary, the defense has to tip their hat. You can't really hide what you're trying to do. Spacing is limited, and you almost are forced to just show it right now and try to live with it. And so, again, you just give your quarterback an easy read, and when you got a dude on the outside, it really helps.
Kyle Trask, 18 of 25 for 241 yards, 4 TDs in the first half. He probably would take those numbers every week if he could get them.
I would.
Yeah, yeah, I think there's no doubt. Hey, unless Ole Miss does something crazy here in the last 5 seconds, we really appreciate your time. This was a lot of fun. I learned a lot. I hope our listeners did too. If you're an Ole Miss fan, I know half number 1, you want the score to be different, but are you generally encouraged?
Yeah, look, anybody that came into this really thinking we're going to go win this ball game, more power to you. They're a top 5 team for a reason, and they have enough returning players. And you look at just what Ole Miss has returning defensively. Those kids are playing hard. They're going to be a decent unit. This isn't going to be some of the teams we've watched in the past defensively. But this is the reality of where you live when you put Jimmys and Joes on the field. And then offensively, we know Ole Miss has playmakers. The offensive line has done some good things. And I think, that's what people coming into the season and in the off season were worried about. What is the youth and the depth look like? And they've done a lot, from what I can understand, to train guys to play multiple positions and get them prepared. And some of that is you're concerned about COVID, or that guys were out being quarantined. And so you're forced to kind of make some moves. But that also means those guys haven't had a ton of time to gel. And when you're asking, you move a kid to center and you've got freshmen or redshirt freshmen playing guard that might have been a tackle for most of his high school career. And so it takes time for those guys to put it all together. And the fact that they have done some good things and at times been effective against the Florida front, to me, should be very encouraging.
Pete, again, thanks so very much for all the time. That was great stuff. We hope we can do it again next week.
For sure, man. I reach out. Hope I gave you something of value, and
Absolutely.
look forward to it. Love what you guys do, and go Rebs.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
really appreciate it. That's
Take care.
That's Pete DeWeese, kind enough to spend some time with us. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick little small halftime ourselves.
Okay.
And we'll come back.
We're just going to put an intro screen up.
Yeah,
Nothing crazy. We're not stopping the feed.
I'm just going to put the bear. Everybody got a kick out of the bear. So I'm going to put the bear up. All right, we're on, just so you know. I've got that built. Welcome back. Sorry about that. We had to take a minute, and I had to not build a screen, but set a scene. So Haley Malatek went and picked up our food from Rafters. This is brought to you by Visit Oxford.
Yeah, I think we're going with Oxford Eats for this. What we're trying to do is we're gonna highlight some of our favorites throughout the season. We're also gonna try to do some maybe on an off the beaten path is right, but some that are lesser known to people that just come into town, places that as locals we like. So that's the hope. Again, that brought to you by Visit Oxford. You'll hear more from them in the coming weeks, but you can head over to visitoxfordms.com. They got plenty of information about what's going on from a COVID standpoint, ways that they're trying to still make things as normal as possible around town with everything going on as well. You can see all those things. You can see everything as far as the safety precautions in place as well. To do that, you can go to, again, visitoxfordms.com/serving Oxford safely pledge. You can see all those different things about what's going on. So do that, and we will we'll have food to you every single week here on the show. They've got music downtown from 4 to 6 today. So when the game ends, if you want to head out for a little bit, you can do that. You can
wear your mask.
You can see options around that around the downtown square. So take advantage of all those things. Again, Oxford Eats, brought to you by Visit Oxford. VisitOxfordMS.com is the website. And again, we've got food from Rafters this around lunch this afternoon. I think is fair. That's probably where we're at right now. 12:56. Still waiting out halftime a little bit. So that's where we're at. What do you want to do, Neal? How you want to go about this?
First of all, I'm having a Goose Island IPA. Someone asked. It's kind of feels like a Cubs day. The Cubs can win the National League Central today. I think it's going to be the last time that happens for a while, so I might enjoy it. Rafters was kind enough to give us a lot of stuff.
A lot of food.
A lot of food. So I guess we just sample some stuff. Okay. We start off with what do we? I can't see the boxes.
Do we have the plates?
The plates are over here. Okay. Yes, someone asked. We have a good intern. We have a great intern. She was kind enough to go handle a lot of this for us.
Here you go.
So yeah,
we can do it from over there. It's fine. I'll
so
pass back.
We have the crawfish rolls here. Haley, would you like a crawfish roll?
That's going to fall into her allergy.
She has the shellfish allergy. Haley has a shellfish allergy.
Neal is trying to get her to swell up and need an adrenaline shot at some point today.
That is absolutely not true.
I am fresh out of EpiPens, so we have a problem there in case we have an issue.
I don't want anything to happen to Haley. That is incorrect. I'm really glad that I jumped on the Peloton this morning. I got to tell you, right about now, it's like
no, it's all calorie free.
That's the
reason.
It's
calorie free. That's why we like Rafters.
That's the reason this worked out.
There are no calories in this.
We have crawfish rolls and we have Zydeco shrimp as Ole Miss and Florida get ready to get started again. We better grab some napkins too.
Oh yeah.
I'll go get us some paper towels, I guess, in a second. I'll put it on you for a minute.
While I'm trying to dig food out. I think Haley's going to grab them for us.
Okay, Haley's going to grab some paper towels?
Yeah, I think that's what we're doing.
Okay.
We'll be eating while we watch the game and whatever else here, so it is what it is. Got that shrimp over there?
Yeah, I got the Zydeco shrimp. Oh, you want that?
Yeah.
I thought you'd already had it. I'm sorry. The box trading was...
I was letting you go first. That was
okay.
Yes, Neal is going to be on the bike for 2 hours tomorrow. There's no doubt in the world about
There's no question about it.
Actually, you mispronounced 4, but otherwise that's
Yeah, I'll be on the bike for a long time tomorrow.
I am kind of hungry, I will say that. So
I am too. Thank you. So we started the third quarter, Ole Miss down 28-14. The shrimp's really good.
Yeah, Zydeco shrimp here.
Yeah. The sauce is excellent.
Eating on camera is not something we necessarily really thought about, did we? Like that's.
Well, I mean, I kind of knew it was going to be part of the deal, and I just sort of accepted it. But yeah.
Florida getting it first here, and it feels like you've got to go to stop if it's going to remain a game, because even 31-14 gets pretty carried away. if not for even the game, the line purposes. This thing settled around 13 or so in Neal's picks. I think I'm the only one with Ole Miss to cover today.
You were. Everybody else laid the points. I worried about this defense's ability to stop Florida's offense. And so far, that was a legitimate worry.
Oh, that was very fair. I mean, that was one of the things we were most.
Carson's going to be really happy when he comes home from soccer late tonight. That's not the way Ole Miss needed the second half to begin. They can't guard him. Pitts, 84.
Huge stiff arm there.
They have no one to guard him. He's just too physical. Florida takes a 34-14 lead.
I don't know if adversity is the right word because it's really not. But the first time that it's a little bit of a, hey, what do you kind of have in you right here a little bit? Gets to again, 3-score game.
Well, don't forget the other part of what Lane Kiffin and his staff have to do. You bring up a great point. They've got to teach these guys to know how to win, to know how to fight through adversity. This is a team that went 4-8 a year ago. I mean, you can't forget that part. They went 4-8 last season.
Up to 146 receiving yards, it looks like, for Pitts.
He's a problem for Ole Miss, beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Seeing what else is going on around the league a little bit, too.
Crawfish egg roll. Have you tried it?
It is. Very good.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Very, very good.
Highly recommend. That's way up there. That's really good.
Told you it's calorie-free, too, so you can go ahead. You can have 3. Oklahoma beating Kansas State 21-7, 9:25 left in the third quarter on that one. Weird game in Auburn. 8-7, Auburn and Kentucky.
Kentucky's going to be a good defensive team. It's going to be interesting next week for Ole Miss. I mean, it gets no easier for a while. You get Kentucky and then Alabama and then the first break, I guess, with Arkansas. We'll see them a little later in the day.
You don't need them to scare Georgia today. You need them to suck. Arkansas needs to be bad. Vandy needs to be a whip puppy. And they're going to be. I'm more just talking. But
listen, I mean, anybody that thinks this was – if you thought this was going to be an easy reconstruct, you were crazy. It's not. It's going to be difficult. Dub says, I still think we beat Kentucky. They don't have an athlete like Florida. And there's some truth to that. There's probably no Pitts on that Kentucky team.
no,
And there's no Kyle Trask on that Kentucky team.
No.
He's good. And deserves a lot of credit for how good he is. I mean, he looks like an NFL quarterback today. Big fan of the crawfish egg roll. It was really good.
You what? Oh, yeah.
Big fan of the crawfish egg roll. That was excellent.
About any shrimp though, I've got a little like Bubba in me though. Like any shrimp, and I'm normally in. Like it doesn't matter. You can seem to prepare it whatever way.
I'm the same way. Just about everyone in my family's that way. All of my kids, if we do something like grilled shrimp or fried shrimp or something,
Everybody's in.
Yeah, people crush that. Oh yeah, what is that? Sure. This is the Parish? Is that one of the burgers? Okay, so what I did was I cut the burgers into. Oh, that's the sourdough. Yeah, we'll try that. Why not? This is the Parish, Chase.
Okay.
I'll pass it to you. Kind of divide them into quarters. There you go. Jake says, how long till Ole Miss gets an SEC defense? I mean, you can do a lot in the transfer market, but we're talking a couple of years.
It just is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not something.
fried egg.
Okay.
Bacon cheeseburger, I think. Not even a burger. I think it's like a grilled cheese.
I've had a lot of stuff. This is one I haven't had, so we're testing this one for the first time altogether.
Someone asked about Clowney. I'm not sure whether he's suited up or not. He probably is, and he's just not ready to play. He's a true freshman. A lot of times they start getting into some game planning and type. Ole Miss answers? Wow.
All the way down to the 17 or 18 there for Elijah Moore.
I did not like the series late in the second quarter when Ole Miss went with Plumlee at quarterback. I thought it was a mistake.
Well, and it wasn't even beyond the personnel. It just felt predictable. They bunched everything up inside, which is not a win for Ole Miss. It's not a place where they have a ton of success, especially in like second and third and short areas. Jerry Neal now for the touchdown. Ole Miss, 2 plays.
2 plays, a response. That's
a great sign if you're just an Ole Miss fan in general. Forget
bingo.
the game,
Yep.
just in general. That's huge. Nobody got down, right back in it. 2 touchdowns down.
That's a culture buy-in.
Yeah, that is.
That shows me there
was a lay down last year at this point.
Yeah, oh yeah, they get run over. This is a culture buy-in. Listen, if I'm an Ole Miss fan so far today, I'm pretty damned encouraged.
Oh, I thought he missed a kick.
The team with the most good players is winning the game.
Well, sure.
I mean,
yeah.
let's just be real. It's an X and O game, but it's a Jimmy and Joe game, and the team that has the most good players is winning the football game. One of these 2 teams is a contender to win a title, and the other one's not. But the one that's not went 4-8 a year ago, and they just got punched in the face, and instead of rolling over, they got up and punched back. I mean, is Ole Miss going to win this game today? At this point, you'd have to say no. But that was a hell of a big moment for them from a team standpoint. If you're watching film tomorrow inside that Manning Center, that's a moment you praise. That's a moment you can build around.
Yeah, bacon, fried egg, cheddar, and Texas toast. It's good at any time, but I'll tell you what, as a breakfast sandwich, that thing would be really, really good in the morning. It's like that.
Yeah.
Start your day right there.
I'm normally not a fried egg on a sandwich guy. And that was really good. Are you a big fried egg on a sandwich guy,
No,
typically?
not typically at all. Like, frankly, that surprised me because it's nothing I would ever just grab.
I mean, I never put one on a burger.
No.
Do you?
Mm-mm. What's the weirdest thing you put on a burger? I know you'd
That I
say
really
jalapenos,
like?
but
Fried green tomato.
oh, really?
You'll love it. Which is a weird thing for me to like because just offered by itself, I typically don't like fried green tomatoes. I mean, they're fine, but I wouldn't like order them off a menu. See, ESPN's just messing with me by doing Peloton commercials right now.
They do a Peloton commercial?
Just then.
Yeah, like peanut butter on a burger is pretty good.
I've never done it. I need to try it.
That's pretty good. Some people says avocado. That's not my Taylor said that.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of would substitute for a mayonnaise or something because you're getting the creamy kind of the.
Campbell and Caroline put avocado on everything.
Oh, do they really?
Yeah, everything. Like Campbell will call and say, "We're going to get avocado toast." I'm like, "Oh, for the love of God!" But apparently it's a big deal. As Haley shakes her head in affirmation.
House-made chips, very good. Did you get some of those?
I did not get any chips, which is probably a good thing.
You
Haley's like, "Oh, what do I do?" No, I'm good. Cole, that's really nice of you. He says, very pleased with the product I'm seeing on the field and on the stream. Yeah, if I'm pleased at this moment in the third quarter. I mean, if you walked into this game going, we're going to win, by God, and anything other than a win is going to be a disappointment, well, some of that is on you for not being a realist.
And that guy exists.
He exists, and I mean, I can't help him. But if you're like, is this a better performance than I would have expected? So, yes. This team didn't have a spring. They didn't have a normal summer, and they had a fall camp, if you want to call it that, a preseason camp that was interrupted a couple of times by COVID stuff. I like the confidence that Matt Corral's playing with. That tells me that he's been coached well.
What recipes does Gold Coast Rep wanting? No, so just waiting on recipes to be posted. What are we asking for?
I'm not sure.
Quite the rope or the chain or whatever we got going on.
That
here.
is quite a chain.
Whoa, it's a chain. It's hooked to an Ole Miss gold football.
Yeah.
Was it a football?
Yeah. You'd have a strong neck if you wore that for very long.
I thought Auburn was kind of walking away. I did not realize that game was still 8-7.
I think Auburn just scored a touchdown right there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. 5:42 to go in the third on the Plains, and Auburn just took a 14-7 lead pending the PAT. Pretty good throw and catch on the Plains just then, Nix to Williams. All right, if you have visions of an Ole Miss comeback,
This is
a
the
stop
time.
has to happen right here. You've got to get Florida off the field right here.
And that's not the start. That is the one area, too, with Ole Miss, is they have so much lack of proven depth on defense that as the game goes on,
Yeah.
play counts are going to get up. I mean, Florida really set the tone even early on with that 13-play drive, whatever it was early.
Well, they're small up front. Lakia Henry misses the tackle right there. And then you're right about the lack of depth. They look a little tired. They just don't have enough. They don't have enough up front on their front seven.
First time they got
a sack and a
grass.
fumble. Oh, ball came out. That was nothing you can do. You created a mistake there, but
Sam Williams limping a little bit, but I think he's all right.
I'll switch out of this scene because I accidentally messed it up.
Did you?
Yeah, this mouse is a little sensitive, and if you don't lock the screen, it can bounce around on you, and there's no way to fix it without
Starting over.
without risking hitting the finish button.
And you don't want to do that.
I don't want to do that. So I just went ahead and got out of that scene.
Little miscommunication there.
Third and 12, pretty big. Again, if you're entertaining prospects of an upset, this is a big play.
Florida hasn't gone back to that other quarterback at all, have they? That might have been a recruiting deal.
That was a recruiting deal.
Hey, we're going to get you a series early.
Something had been promised, among other things. I'm guessing.
Yeah, tuition.
Yeah.
Room and board.
Books. Got to make a tackle here. Nope.
Nope. Well, it wasn't that far. That looked like it was even 2 or 3 yards past where we got. I mean, he got the first down, but good grief. He gave him the end of the Superman here.
Yeah, ball should be at about the 41.5. Gave him a half yard.
Yeah. Got a flag. Are you noticing even the red on the pants at all? Does it even notice? Does it show up for you or pop?
Yeah, it doesn't pop, but I see it. I think I'd like a powder blue swoosh. But they might be just, they got one set of pants, and those can go with anything. $11:19 to go in the third, in case you're trying to sync up with us. Florida looking at a 1st and 20 from its own 49-yard line.
Another hold.
Yeah,
Didn't
3
get
was
called.
holding at the top of the screen. You got to call that. It's pretty obvious. If you and I can both see it like that.
Well, he would, but it's up to another official because they're guarding that guy because it's
Oh.
in front right there with those 3 all together. But all right, Auburn up 15-7 now.
Yeah, that was a couple minutes ago. That was
Okay.
that throw and catch I was telling you about.
Still no cover yet.
2nd and 15 for Florida. If you're Ole Miss, you got to be looking pass here, and you got to be careful with the screen underneath or something. They've done a lot of that.
Good play.
Yeah, real nice play.
Stanley. Big time missed tackle earlier. Good
Yeah, I
play
was going
there.
to say he's had some moments each way now. That's how good Trask is. Even on a play where the ball gets deflected, you could tell the throw was on the money. He's been really good.
Couldn't get Durkin any powder.
Maybe Durkin doesn't want to wear powder.
Maybe not.
Maybe he's anti-powder.
Maybe it's a contrast, so they look at him.
That's a hold at the top.
Huge hold.
Come
at the
on,
top.
you got to call that. Sam Williams was held. All right, so Florida looking at a 4th
Had they called it, would
and
you have
about
taken it
7. Yeah, you take it.
to make sure you knock them out of this
Yeah,
position?
4th and about 7. And if I'm the Gators here, I punt the football. I create a long field. Oh, they're going to try a field goal here.
40.
Yeah, 55-yard kick.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize. Evan McPherson, 34 of 38 on his field goals for his career, long of 50. This will be his career long if he can make it.
By 5.
He
Plenty
got,
of leg.
he got every bit of that. Huh?
Wow.
Got to give the kid credit there. He boomed that.
That was a hell of a kick.
It was a hell of a kick.
Didn't have much left, but didn't
As
need
someone who
anything
goes
left.
out with a 13-year-old to kick field goals, that's impressive.
Okay.
Carson's good from about 22 right now,
Yeah.
not 55.
We weren't good from 20 back in the day.
No, he's already a better kicker at 13 than I ever was in my entire life.
You and I attempted 20 kicks and made 1. Yeah, it wasn't really, but that mishold there is critical. That was 3 points because you
Yeah.
knock them back 10 more. It's 3rd and 25 at that point.
You want anything else? You good?
Probably ought to need to show them. Run
Yeah,
through
we
them
need,
a
we
little bit.
probably
Yeah.
need to run through a little bit more, yeah. This is the point in a football game where I start thinking about the column that I'm going to write. My mind starts going to columns. This is going to be an easy one. Yeah, what do we have here? Let's see. All right, this is the Babineau, which is a burger.
You can go ahead and we'll separate them all out. Make it easy on you, and then
This is a burger with maybe fried oyster on it.
Babineau. Kayla's
Yeah.
got our menu up. She'll run through it in a second.
Okay. This is the chawed poulet.
He was struggling with his Louisiana accent that should have come in there.
That looks good. The oyster. I think that's oyster.
Elijah Moore with a huge play.
Very quietly, because he's been overshadowed a bit by Kyle Trask, Matt Corral's having a hell of a football game.
Yeah, there's no critical thing on Corral much right now at all.
Haley, could you bring the Peloton down here? I mean, if you could. It's a little heavy, and try not to break it, but Don't let me do like a class with one of the girls. I need to do where I'm distracted. I need to be totally locked in.
None of this. You're not going to cruise your way through one today.
Yeah, it's more calories than I've eaten in a month. Ole Miss has the football at the Florida 22. Absolutely no rollover in this team whatsoever. If you're an Ole Miss fan, that has to be encouraging. Great call. They're going to call a hold on this. They're going to bring this back.
Who held?
It was really shaky. You can't not call the hold on Williams and then call that hold.
Get that menu up quick, Haley. Make sure we get this right. All right, we have the Voodoo. It's pepper jack, bacon, jalapenos, and Tabasco aioli. Neal will be all about that with the jalapenos.
Yeah, for sure.
Again, we have the catfish. We'll get to that a little bit as well. The Babino is bacon, fried onion, cheddar, and the remoulade. Have that as well with us.
That's a winner.
You okay with that one?
Yep.
All right, good for you. And then let's see. We have chicken, bacon, pickle, pepper jack, the Zydeco sauce that was on the shrimp, and a gourmet bun. So that's what we're going with from Raptors Music Food there on the square in Oxford. Seeing what Ole Miss does here after the hold. Yeah, one more bit of adversity down to fourth down. That's they have been a little pop
there.
Yeah. Yeah.
This will be a 42-yarder for Logan.
He was 11 of 19, 57% last season.
Nope.
Came out very poorly into the right.
That's not the first time he's pushed one to the right.
A little more vindicated from earlier in the game. I mean, I know it's not necessarily apples to apples by any means, but Lane going for it in that first series.
Yeah. To me, that was a no-brainer. He knew his defense wasn't going to stop Florida much. He needed points. And again, it's year zero. If you think this team is competing for a championship, you're out of your freaking mind. And so if you're the coach of that team, you go for some stuff. You take some chances. You roll the dice. You tell kids you believe in them, you're going to take shots. Eric Jernigan says, go suit up Carson. He's not quite ready.
Ole Miss desperately needing a stop just to get a stop at this point, get the defense back off the field a little bit before exhaustion kicks in midway through the third quarter.
It is worth noting they have a big-time kicker committed coming in next year. They'll be better there.
Somewhere in Louisiana?
Mm-hmm.
Where's he from?
New Orleans area. I'm not sure exactly where.
Do you know Arch Manning?
I don't know anything about his relationship or lack thereof with Arch Manning.
Not a package deal.
Not that I'm aware of. I don't think Arch is going to be part of a package deal with the kicker or anyone.
Those Louisiana package deals haven't worked out real well for Ole Miss. They got Colby Arsenault, missed on Joe McKnight. I haven't delved very deeply into my Orgeron book yet.
Kentucky-Auburn game has a commercial. It's a Hooters commercial. Do people still go to Hooters? Is that still a thing?
That's where John Daly sits in the parking lot in Augusta during the Masters in his RV.
I can't remember the last time I saw a Hooters. Insert joke here, but totally serious. When was the last time you saw a Hooters? When was the last time you were in a Hooters?
He's from Mandeville, so yeah, just outside New Orleans, across the causeway. We haven't seen anything out of Mingo. Doors Rules with a comment there. That's true. You've seen a lot of Drummond. You've seen a lot of Elijah Moore. But pretty quiet game for Mingo to this point. We haven't seen Dennis Jackson to this point at all.
No, we haven't. Jonathan says, would I be an Ole Miss fan if Carson got a Scully? Look, I'll put it this way. There's only one thing that could lead me to cheer for the St. Louis Cardinals. And that's if Carson's playing for the St. Louis Cardinals.
That's it, isn't it?
That's it. All right, that is one of the things that I've seen is that other than Elijah Moore, has he and Drummond, have they found a third receiver today?
No.
And they haven't used Yoba at all, have
I
they?
think they would see nothing out of Yoba either. And that's not enough. I mean, that's not. Drummond giving them something is huge, but.
Apparently Kentucky has pulled within 15-13 at Auburn.
Have they kicked yet?
Must have gone for 2 and didn't get it.
Oh, right. What's your take on the Chad Morris hire? There's that guy we talked about.
There's that man. I mean, he and Malzahn are a lot alike. Morris better a passing coach than he is a running coach. Malzahn's teams have all been able to run the ball well. If they can mix that together, they'll be pretty good.
Yeah, Ole Miss's defense hasn't given up. They're just exhausted. They're thin. They have a lot of struggles up front. I mean, that's a complete and utter blown coverage there. And maybe got a little lucky to get another hit on that.
No, they're getting picked apart right now on defense.
We fell a step slow to that team. Play a lot of plays. You're not playing a ton of guys, or at least not playing a ton of guys that you would trust in crunch situations, if you will.
Yeah.
Kentucky tried to screw up their uniforms.
They always do.
The checkerboard.
Nice play by Dalen Gill. Just got to go get players on defense. They're going to have to get into the transfer market on defense and get players.
Corner of 2000 asking, I missed it. Who supplied y'all's lunch? Raptors music and food for the day. A lot of apps. Crawfish rolls might have been Neal's favorite as we're kind of going through it.
What was your
Catfish, very
favorite?
good. The shrimp. I'm the shrimp.
Yeah.
It is what it is. And of the sandwiches, the chicken sandwich has been my favorite so far. Maybe not something I would have expected going in and trying it, but that's where I'm at. Again, we'll do this every single week.
I know this will shock you. The burger with the jalapeno on it was.
I know you're surprised.
Yeah.
Every single week, we got some of the lineup already in place. We'll do it every week, though, with you 10 weeks of this. Again, Oxford Eats brought to you by Visit Oxford. VisitOxfordMS.com is the website. See his calendar. We'll tell you about the calendar every day, what's going on locally. Starting to get more things going. We got tourist activities. Like what we said earlier on the pregame, town seemed pretty busy yesterday. Felt fairly football weekend-ish. Ooh.
Lakia Henry put a shot on the quarterback.
Yeah, there was a welcome to college football a little bit there for him.
Yeah, you're not playing high school anymore at that moment. Because this is a pop. Ooh. Textbook hit, too. Shoulder. I'm going to like his chances to make this kick, by the way. I'm going to predict that he makes this. I'm on the record. There wasn't much doubt. So 41-21 Gators, 5:06 to go in the third as this one starts to get away from Ole Miss a little bit. The story now becomes the betting line. And a little bit for Ole Miss, what the story is.
Just finish the game.
Do you roll over?
Yeah.
And I don't think they will. Defensively, I don't want to do this all year, but I'll do it on week one. This is an indictment of the previous staffs.
Sure.
Not just Luke, all the way back to Freeze. This is an indictment of a failure to recruit SEC caliber defensive linemen.
Yeah, this is the time of the day. Again, Florida's run a lot of plays. Florida's stayed on the field a long time. They've put together very competent drives all game. Because somebody, like I said, it's back to the whole quit argument. You're not quitting if you're tired. If you run out of plays, if you bust some mental coverages because of your physical issues. I mean, it's the football equivalent of when you go, hey, that baseball team's flat. They can't hit Max Scherzer. Well, you're flat because you can't hit the guy. Yeah. I mean, it's the same sort of deal here. It's things look flat when they're not going well.
Well, it's like last night. I saw, the Cubs scored 10 runs, and a lot of people on the internet were like, "Oh, the offense got going. They look like they're alive today." And it's like, no, they're hitting today. When you hit, you look different than when you don't hit. And this is just, again, this is one of the probably at worst, this is the fourth best team in the SEC. At absolute worst, and they're probably better.
And that's a reach.
And they're probably better than that. And you played with them for a while.
And got unlucky. I mean, not to win the game, but just from
Right.
a close standpoint.
To stay in it a little bit.
You had the whole call back on the touchdown that, frankly, was tic-tac. And then on the other side, they don't get the whole, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
There's a couple official calls that at least moved the game 10 points there.
Sure.
I mean, there's very little about this. You go, hey, Ole Miss is in position to win this game from a talent standpoint or a depth standpoint. But I think that was supposed to be a run-pass option.
It was.
But
Yeah. I get that there's a certain amount of appeasement that's happening here. I don't like this package. I don't mind him lining up as a receiver or as a slot, but the whole we're going to use him as a passer. You have a better passer. Let the better passer pass. Not even sure what kind of that package is right there.
the package is very slow moving.
And against the
when
team
it
as
gets bunched
athletic as
up, that's the thing. It's asking the interior of the offensive line to move people out of there, and they just can't do that yet.
Yoba in the slot, Mingo out wide, Moore in the slot as well. Yeah, you got to probably got to take a shot right there, but you don't want to force it. He's actually played a fairly clean game.
I think at this moment, even if it's whatever, I think you're better off not ingraining him to force it there. You know what I mean? If he's going to be willing to do that, let him just do it and go, you know what, you're not necessarily living for another day, but you are. So, hey, let's do a little more of a teachable moment here.
Sure.
I think Matt's only made one bad decision for the most part all day. He spun the wrong way into that sack.
Really, that's about it.
When he could have stayed to the right and stayed in the pocket. Otherwise, it's been okay.
Another solid punt from Mac Brown. He's had a good game. Yeah, had a good game. I need to update the score. I've done a poor job of updating scores. I was doing well for a while.
The Florida Ole Miss knee thing before the game is the number 2 headline on ESPN.com right now.
Really?
Uh-huh. I don't think I even heard, we missed the very beginning, but I didn't even hear anything said on the game, or at least since we've been watching.
Well, when you want to force a narrative, you force a narrative.
We'll stat run down here while we're following along. Matt Corral, frankly, needs to throw the ball a little more. He's 9 of 13, 233, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. For Corral, that was that batted ball. Then Kyle Trask, 23 of 32, 343, 5 touchdowns so far for the Gators quarterback. Jerry Neal, 14 carries, 65 yards, a score. One kid for Florida had a 50-yard run, so he's their leader. And then Elijah Moore, have you a day, 7 catches, 170 yards at this point for Moore.
He's a pro player. He'll play in the NFL.
Ontario Drummond completed his 1 pass for 45 yards, and we saw that. Plumlee has thrown the ball 1 time, 1 for 1 for 3. Matt Corral, actually the second leading rusher for Ole Miss, 8 carries, 33 yards.
We've seen no Henry Parrish.
No, nothing.
Very little Snoop Connor.
Yeah. Drummond, those 2 catches we saw for the score and 60 total yards for him. Ely also has 1 catch for 45 yards. Plumlee has 1 catch for 6 yards. A.J. Finley with the pick for Ole Miss earlier. Yeah, Luke Logan averaging 49 yards per punt currently off 3 kicks.
Kentucky has the football, 12:52 and counting to go. They've got a 3rd and 5 at their own 31 or so. Down 15-13. I think a free play because they were offsides. Yep. That's going to be a first down.
Kentucky has a free play?
Yeah, it's going to be a first down. They actually said unimpeded. No, actually, they called timeout. Kentucky called timeout.
Okay. Tackling has not been good today for Ole Miss.
Oh, it's frankly been bad.
Yeah. Tackling and lack of pressure are the 2 things on defense that really stand out. I mean, there's a lot of things that stand out, but those are the 2. And that's 2 huge things. I mean, if you can't get to the quarterback, you can't play defense. And, I mean, we'll see on Pro Football
How many
Focus
yards
tomorrow.
does Florida have through 3 quarters? Do you know?
Total? Yeah.
That reminds me, I was supposed to send the stat broadcast link to Jeffrey. See if I can find that.
Okay.
Because he's going to join you for the first hour of Hand Raise Guys.
Yeah. Florida total yards 567
Through 3 quarters.
Yes. They've thrown for 398 at this moment and run for 169. Ole Miss has thrown for 281 and run for 134 for 415 yards. So, I mean, really not a bad output day for Ole Miss at all through 3 quarters, but still down by 152 yards. Both teams turned it over the 1 time. Ole Miss 6 of 11 on 3rd down. The 0 for 1 on 4th down. Florida 6 of 9 on 3rd down. Denver Reb asking, we ever think we'd be doing this kind of thing for work?
No.
It came together pretty quickly from that standpoint. I mean, I think people do get pretty bogged down in just the way it's always been done, and for a lot of ways. I mean, thought, there's a game, you go to the game, you cover the game, you move on, you write, you do whatever, you do this on Sunday, you do this on Monday. I mean, there's a schedule to it. I mean, it takes the ability to be okay with failing, frankly, to do something like this, because you get on and there's nobody on, you go, okay, well, give it a shot, didn't work, move on to something else.
Well, we joke about this a lot as the guy that never had a date to prom. There's a certain degree of this is you can't be afraid that the girl will tell you no. You have to accept that she might tell you no, and if she does, you just move on.
Mm-hmm.
There was probably a time in our doing this that we would have been afraid the girl would say no, and I think now we're like, if she says no, she says no. We'll find another girl to ask. So it's a progression, if that makes any sense at all.
That's fair.
Makes sense to me, by the way.
A lot of people kind of in the concourses at Vaught Hemingway, kind of getting some videos from some people in the stands.
That's how you get COVID. And
food lines and whatnot.
The virus hunts you.
Kentucky has fumbled.
Yes, Kentucky fumbled. Auburn recovered. 12:34 to go in that one.
Terry Wilson apparently on that one.
So post-game, Ole Miss is going to have 2 Zoom calls, one with Lane Kiffin and players and another with just players. I think Lane Kiffin and offensive players, and then a Zoom with defensive players. So what I'll do is I'll get in the Zoom while Chase and Jeffrey talk, and when I get done, I'll have a column. I'll put some stuff up, and then we'll download the Zooms to YouTube and bring those to you.
We're asking this live because we're going to be live for the most part. I'm asking you, though. I'm going to obviously need to be there at the controls.
Yeah.
The overlays will have your name on it, however, right?
Yeah, and I don't know how to fix those.
I mean,
you can just eliminate the overlay.
And just talk.
Okay. I think by this point they know who we are.
Okay, that's fair.
I'm
just asking.
We've been on all day.
Yeah, I'm just asking. Let's see. Yeah, I'm seeing the thread. I mean, I get it. They're going to lose the game. We're starting to build some frustration from that. But this is not the same old loss as always. This is not what this is.
Not even a little bit.
Well,
number one, the team they're losing to is a hell of a good football team. I mean, they are very good. There's not a lot of weakness on this team, this Florida team. There's not a lot missing for them. They've got athletes on the outside. They're very good up front. The quarterback is excellent.
It's the fourth quarter now.
Yeah, I'm fixing it. I was just doing that, as a matter of fact. I was kind of waiting for the next.
They're just grinding away, though. I
mean, yeah. Well, and one team is thin on the defensive side, and one team is very good on offense, and it's starting to show. I mean, if you said, hey, let's fast forward to 2022 and see what this team looks like, I'd be curious. Yeah. Matt Luke and that staff were fired for a reason. It wasn't because they were winning, and it wasn't because they were winning recruiting battles and they were stacking athletes up on both sides of the ball. That's not why they were fired. If they were doing that, they'd be out there right now. You fire coaches for a reason on the end of a 4-8. And Dan Mullen's a hell of a coach. He's a hell of a program builder. He just is. At some point, you have to accept these things. And he did a great job at Mississippi State, which is a very hard job, and now he's doing a great job at Florida, which is not a hard job.
He's in year 3.
He's in year 3, which is a magic year, and he's got athletes all over the field, and it shows. And he's a very good play caller who has called a very good game today. Yeah, I mean, Lane Kiffin's going to talk about recruiting after this. Lane Kiffin's going to get on the phone with his staff. They're going to get on the phone with players tonight and say, if we'd had you, this would have been an interesting game. We didn't have enough up front.
Auburn 22-13. $44-21 in a minute.
Camera person did a pretty good job getting out of the way. He or she, I think it was a he, could have really gotten hurt right there.
Yeah, talent and lack of speed is poor tackling a lot of times because you're a half step from where you should be from an angle or from a position standpoint. So yeah, I mean, a lot of times tackling is a talent issue.
I like his chances to make this kick. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, I think McPherson.
You're an Evan McPherson fan.
I think McPherson makes this kick right here.
He did.
I don't think Evan McPherson misses many kicks.
What was his career? It was like 31 of 35.
He's like 38 for 40 now or something like that. His level of success as a kicker is pretty high.
As somebody said earlier, he'll be a great 4th-round pick one day.
Well, no doubt. Florida 44, Ole Miss 21 is what we have right here.
That is correct. First time I've checked the message board much.
How's it going?
It's okay. Okay. They're mostly staying in the thread. I am pleased with that.
Mostly staying in one thread?
The game thread. The game thread has about 600 replies on it. They're staying somewhat on that.
Haley, how are we coming on getting the Peloton down here?
You're starting to hit a little bit of a food.
I'm like hitting a food coma a little bit. Thank God I got up this morning and did it.
At least it's an 11 a.m. game. Yeah. You weren't trying to do this at like 9:30 where you're like, okay.
I walked into the bedroom this morning. It was like 6:30, and Laura's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I got off the Peloton." She goes, "Already?" Well, yeah, I did an hour and 15 minutes just then. She's like, "You were." I think she knows she's married to a psychopath.
I haven't noticed much with the broadcast for the most part, other than McElroy being bad. Marty Smith catching a lot of flack on the thing, but I have not really heard him say anything. I haven't heard that.
No, I haven't either.
I think we talk mostly during the breaks or when they're doing something down the field, so I'm not really paying attention to it. I don't know what the over-under was on this game. Do you?
I don't. Ryan Brown just sent me a text saying, "You nailed that defense. Lane better load up on points." And I said, "And players." No, this is not the time to put John Rice Plumlee in. This is the time to run your offense. This is the time to get reps in. The game's done. This is about getting ready for next week. This is about getting ready for next year. This is about showing recruits, here's what we do. This is who we are. This is not the time to run a gimmick.
No. It is weird though. We've been on now for almost 5 hours. It's only 1:47. Like just from a time of day standpoint,
yeah.
Like I'm not tired, but I just look at the thing and I'm like, wow, like it's only 1. 3 o'clock next week, so 1 o'clock getting started.
Yep.
Post game show 7:30-ish next week, something like that.
Yeah, I'd guess something like that. What's your plan? Are you going to get started kind of right away with Jeffrey, or are you going to?
I mean, it will take a minute just to organize. Frankly, it's a new thing. I don't know a lot of the controls that you do over there, so I'm a little blind on some of that.
One thing I can do, if you'd rather
is get it started,
is I can get it started and let you. I mean, I can sit here and work and run the board. I just won't be talking. I'll take my headset off.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I think as long as I have the thing up, there's no need to do a whole lot till you get back. I think I can mostly talk.
Well, one thing I can see is
we can move Haley here to at least give another something. And then
Haley could sit there, and then I could come in and run the Skype. Well, and I can just record the Zoom. I mean, the truth is, Ole Miss is going to make the Zoom available.
Yeah.
I don't know how much quotes they want to read, and you guys tell us in the thread. Do you want to read?
But we can still download the video.
Yeah, so
that can be into YouTube immediately. If
you can see the post game Zoom, that's good enough, right? Or not? Tell me.
Do you need it transcribed and written? Is the question.
Yeah, and Ole Miss will transcribe Kiffin. Boy, this thing's getting sideways on them on offense too. They're going horizontal against speed, and they need to go vertical.
Yes, we both have journalism degrees. That is correct. Neal even has 2.
I have a master's in communication from Harvard on the bay.
What was that emphasis though, like in the late '80s or around '90 when it was? Like, I mean, was that PR-ish or?
There's Yoba. See, that was going downfield, vertical. Corral has looked good when they've gone vertical. There's a lot of cute stuff at the line of scrimmage that. Yeah, they want the videos. That makes it easy. We'll just take a little reset, and
we'll figure it out.
I can kind of write my column while you and Jeffrey talk.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. This is an easy column to write. I'll tell you what I'm going to write from a column standpoint, which is the score won't reflect it, but this was a hell of a good start to the Lane Kiffin era. There's a lot to look forward to here. I love that.
Play.
Love that. Back shoulder throw to a tight end down the field. There's a lot here, y'all.
Well, good body control there.
Yeah.
That's a pretty athletic tight end to go get that.
Yeah, but I like the play call. Good call.
Back to him. Hey.
Ooh. I think he got in. Yeah, good call. I think the replay will hold that up. It was close.
They've been broken up pretty good on the inside as far as the inside run game, especially when it was predictable. But I feel like the tackles have played fairly well today. I haven't seen a ton of issue from Newman and Broker out on the edge, especially against a defensive line as good as Florida out there. It's not a terrible comparison. Dorsal 28 says it's kind of like Ole Miss, Texas, 2012.
Yeah, I can see that a little bit.
It's not the worst comparison in the world. Yeah.
Do you go for 2 here? See, I go for 1 here because it gets me within 2 scores.
Yeah.
I don't go for 2 here.
I think in his mind you got to have 2 2-point conversions anyway, so go ahead and try to get them.
Get 1, yeah.
I think that's the thing, is go ahead and see if you get it and then move.
He's open in the back of the end zone. There it is.
Yep.
Again, I mean, I'm not trying to be Mr. Sunshine, and I don't know that that's my reputation. But there's a lot here, if I'm an Ole Miss fan, that I'm pleased with. Now, I'm worried about my defense. There's no way around that.
It's bad.
I'm watching the defense and going, oh, boy, this is rough. But offensively, this team is what are they, 29 points right now? They're at 29 points against a championship caliber team. There's no way around that. And had a touchdown called back on a ticky-tack play.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's no, even if you change those 2 plays, Florida's still winning this football game. I mean, I'm not doing that.
Now, Ole Miss might cash a Vegas ticket.
Yeah, I'm not doing that, but there's a lot here. And if I'm Ole Miss, I'm really pleased with Matt Corral.
Been composed.
He's a sophomore.
Yeah, his pick was on a tip. I mean, again, you can go, hey, don't throw it in the line of scrimmage, but
nah,
it's fine.
You got to give credit to the kid for Florida made a play.
Yeah,
the other team tries too. You know, I mean that the other coaching staff scouts too. I mean there are 2 sides to the game. You've played offensively well enough to have a shot to win. Defensively, you've given up 600 yards. Hard to win a game when you're giving up 600 yards.
The defensive line we knew was the soft spot of this team, and it proved to be through 1 week. They were bad up front.
What'd you call soft spot?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not even sure that soft is an adequate adjective. No, there's a lot of work to do on defense that, frankly, can only be done on the recruiting trail. Now, you won't play a quarterback any better than this guy all year.
Just if you make says I think would be Kentucky. You can score on Kentucky. You can have a chance.
Yeah. A shot.
They play into some of the issues. That defensive line's got to be very disciplined. They're going to try to run the football.
44-29 is that what we're looking at right now?
That's correct, yeah. A lot of misdirection, a lot of assignment stuff with Kentucky they're going to try to get you with as well.
And they're going to try to run the damn ball down your throat too. All right, I'm going to put this on you for a minute, Chase, and move some stuff out of the way here.
Okay. So, I mean, I can move there. That's not a big deal. It's up to you.
Oh, we're good. I can write from here, and you and Jeffrey can talk, and then we'll take calls after that.
Okay. Please. Who's modeling today? Are you modeling? Okay. We're cleaning up plates and let's see, what do we have? What's going on in the stream? No, 2018 wouldn't have scored like this on Florida. This offense is different. Closing in on 500 yards total offense with some time left. Pitt's playing well again. Pitt up 23-20 on Louisville at this moment. Matt Corral in the second half, 7 of 7 for 189 and a score. After having 125 in the first half. So my education, 14 of 18 there for Matt Corral. No huge deal, but Ole Miss needs to be a little better on special teams too, as far as bringing the ball out of the end zone. A couple times they could have just gotten it after touchbacks would have helped. Auburn extending a little bit now, 29-13. The Tigers over Kentucky. Got to be happy for Jalen Jones. The profile on him as the Kentucky Mullins Award winner there. I mean, that injury, he's been through a lot. It's changed positions around in the secondary. Kind of found a home again. Started to get a little bit of his quickness back. I mean, it's. I don't know that he had the complete upside, but I mean, and nowhere near it's severe of a situation. But I mean, kind of reminds me of Ken Webster a little bit. What's our Oklahoma score? Seeing Brett saying it's got close. Where are we at with that one? Kyle Trask on third down today, 7 of 8 for 71. Really good dial up there from DJ Durkin. Brought Sonogo off the edge. They called a flag, though, and they're going to get him for a... That's shaky right there now. That's awful. Actually, a huge play in this football game because Ole Miss gets the ball back right there. You never know. That's huge. The field position would have been pretty good. There's a certain textbook nature to that call, but good grief. Another missed tackle and a pretty good read there by Florida. They saw the crash in and then kicked it out right there by that back. Wasn't a bad play call, but Florida kind of out-athleting Ole Miss a little bit on that play between the call and the missed tackle. Florida in field goal range, obviously. Yeah, Sonogo is completely out to dry there because there's no way he can see anything. He can't tell when the ball's been thrown. It's a football play. Oh, it would have gotten Ole Miss off the field with the ball. It was on 3rd and 10 or something. Neal just now reacting to it from the other room. Yeah, they call it driving Trask into the ground, roughing the passer. The Stingley news still going across the bottom of the screens. All they're saying is non-COVID related. Ooh.
Ooh, Sam Williams bit on that hard. We'll go ahead and make a prediction that Pitts plays in the National Football League. Feel good about that one.
Over under 10th pick might be a better thing right now.
Yeah. There's a lot of football player right there.
Pro Football Focus stats tomorrow are not going to be kind to the Ole Miss defense.
Nor should they be.
No. Lane was pretty funny in the headset after the poor call. He was not approving of the call.
Well, it was a bad call.
Well, I mean, if you're Sonogo, you've wrapped up a very big quarterback. You don't know when the ball's out.
You're finishing the play. Yeah, it was a football play.
And Trask takes 3 steps back and then falls down. It's not even. There was no drive. There was no head damage.
No, I'm all for protecting the quarterback, but more from.
I'm tired of a rule being a rule just to be a rule. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where there's no interpretation of anything. Well, that's just the rule. Well, okay, but.
Boy, Greg McElroy, he gets paid a lot of money for this expertise, doesn't he?
National championship quarterback Greg McElroy.
Yeah.
Did he win one?
I think so.
Did he?
I'm sure that he tells his wife every night.
He beat Texas.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Texas
Yeah.
game?
He comes home every night and says, "You're welcome." And she just looks at him and he says, "You're welcome. I came home."
I'm back. Yeah.
Could have left. The line was a long one, but I decided to give you another chance. Decided to give you another day.
This is another one. So somebody, we're going to roll you up in a rug and roll you out the front door.
Yeah, I don't even understand this commercial.
The music's pretty good, so I kind of like tap my foot and like move on, but it's Allstate, so we're doing insurance. Travelers is the best with the insurance over the years. You know, they got like the dog that can't find out where to put his bone. He like puts it in the safety deposit box, and finally he insures it and gets the umbrella over it. I watch a lot of Golf Channel, and the Travelers. Travelers is a huge Golf Channel sponsor. I see a lot of Travelers insurance commercials over the months. They know their target market. I mean, the Golf Channel has a very specific ad base when it comes to what they're seeing every day.
Oh, it's all rolled into one. That's what the commercial's about. So everything's rolled into one.
Well, I mean, okay, but
yeah.
Speaking of somebody getting paid a lot of money to do something. Hopefully that's sarcasm.
Which?
We got a message board thread that says "Hot take: Fire DJ Durkin."
Ooh.
Yes, Buddy Ryan and have a hard time right now. Like it is what it is.
You all should just be thankful that fall camp was closed to the media. You'd be really disappointed right now in the defense.
Yeah. I mean, the call was really bad. We've got pretty much full front page of that.
Yeah, and it was a bad call. Absolutely. They haven't gotten any favors from the media. I mean, the officials.
Stripes.
Yeah, the Stripes.
No, Don Draper would have knocked that out of the park. That was not a Draper commercial. I mean, he invented the Coke commercial, for goodness sake.
Don Draper?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, sorry. Anybody out there take Mad Men over Breaking Bad? Where do we fall on that on the stream? Just a great play. There's nothing you can do there.
No. Actually, Jalen had perfect coverage. Just Pitts is bigger and stronger and won it. It'd be hard to beat out Pitts for SEC Offensive Player of the Week.
Well, yeah, his teammate.
Yeah, Traska's. Hello.
I mean, Trask now got it up.
Kentucky just scored, but it's going to be way too little too late. I say they scored. Let's see. No, I stand corrected. They did not score. I misread the play. I mean, that's a really good play by Jalen.
Why would his feet not be in bounds?
Not only are his feet in bounds, his butt got in bounds.
Are they saying that it was still loose and moving around because of the defender?
I guess. If you look at the play, Jalen's got more possession right there than Pitts does. How does that? What's the ruling on that? How does that work?
Offense typically will get any kind of tie.
Okay.
Yeah. You hardly ever see that not play to the offensive side.
He's got feet.
See, I think he has it and the play's over really before it starts coming loose.
I mean, feet and butt in. He's in.
Yes, Nick. Ole Miss should get you a Kyle Pitts. That would help.
Yeah.
Need to find one of those.
Go recruit a couple of those guys. That'd be a game changer.
Kyle Pitts, 8 catches, 170 yards, and 4 touchdowns today. Kyle Trask, 30 of 42 for 416 and 6 at this moment. The one interception for Florida came courtesy of Emory Jones, not Kyle Trask.
right, so 51-29 now. Is that right?
That's correct. Yes. Yeah, the over-under on the Egg Bowl right now should be like 94.
A lot of points. Here's the problem. If you want some cold water here, is this defense is at this point so anemic that you worry about games like Arkansas.
Where they can.
Where they can score. They can run the football. They can eat clock, and they can maybe create a turnover or two on their side of the ball.
Yeah, I mean, I do want to see next week simply because of Trask.
Yes.
When you're starting with that quarter. Like, again, look, the defense has tons of work to do. This is not something where you go, oh, no, it's okay. It's not okay. It's not okay at all. But there are levels of awful. And there's a difference in Terry Wilson going for 386 on you, and you go, oh, hell, versus Trask and Pitts and taking advantage of the talent situation and all that. I mean, that's a whole different.
Oh, absolutely,
that's a whole different deal.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. There's a whole lot of, as much as I'm sure fans are tired of hearing it, there's a whole lot of Kyle Trask love that has to happen here. Where you watch this guy, if you're an NFL scouting guy, you're looking at Kyle Trask right now, and you're going, this is a prototypical NFL quarterback with the big-time arm who can move his feet, who seems to understand how to read defenses, who doesn't make a lot of mistakes, stays calm, composed. He's played SEC football. There's a lot to – I mean, if you're the Carolina Panthers or something and you're looking at this, there's a lot to love in Kyle Trask.
Frost makes a good point. I mean, we've talked about Florida was likely going to win this football game either way, but that penalty is huge. I mean, that penalty had a chance to get Ole Miss back into a one-possession game at that point.
Yeah.
Just to, if nothing else, to get the ball back going, hey, you're in the game in the fourth quarter. See what you do here. Again, it's all about culture and mentality right now as much as anything, and that would have provided another learning experience for Ole Miss at that point.
No doubt.
Hey, you go score. It's 44-36, guys. Now defense, find a stop, give us the ball. You know what I mean? At least you can start playing this out with our heads. I mean, there's reward there that's very immediate if you can have some small successes.
Oh, completely agree.
Yeah, there's been zero pressure. I mean, the front four, but Ole Miss is so dependent on getting there with a small number because coverage-wise, they just can't match up. So they can't sit here and play man all day. They can't try to bully these Florida receivers. It doesn't work. I mean, I understand you got to mix stuff up, but at the same time, Florida's going to do it that way too.
Oh, I mean, like someone in the thread says, makes me excited to see how we look against UK next week. I agree. I'm thrilled football's back. Now that the football part of me is, I'm over the, oh God, are we going to have a season? I'm now kind of looking forward to next Saturday at 3:00. Interesting. Because I've watched Kentucky enough here on my laptop to know that Kentucky is not Florida. Let me break that while I'm at it. There's two big breaking news today. Pitts is going to play in the NFL, and Kentucky is not Florida. So it'll be interesting.
Ole Miss has an easier game next week, McCready says.
Ole Miss has a winnable game next week. It's winnable. Now, it's losable. Make no mistake.
Yeah. Sure.
It's losable. If Ole Miss played Florida 10 times, I'm not convinced Ole Miss gets one. From what I've seen of Kentucky today, if Ole Miss played Kentucky 10 times.
Georgia Southern with a top 25 win today.
Had they beat Lafayette?
Is it over, or was that the last play? Or are they just ahead? I don't know.
I don't know. If they won, then here's to you, Georgia Southern.
Eagles, right?
Sure.
Well, they played Ole Miss recently. You don't remember?
I don't.
Wofford's the Terriers. I remember that one.
Was Georgia Southern, is that where Kelly got hurt?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
That started the Shea Patterson show.
It did. Yeah, 84 is going to be a problem for every team.
Yes.
And no doubt about that. Yeah.
41 seconds left in the game we're talking about.
Defensive coordinators.
Kansas State has the ball down 7 in the fourth against Oklahoma.
Really?
Means the Big 12 sucks. Where was that going? Are these bad games like this enough for voters to just go, you know what, I don't care what you do in the Big 12, you're not getting in the playoffs?
Sure, of course. That's why I think some of the games that are out there, people are watching, and if you don't pass the looks test.
That's what Saban said. You got to impress people.
I agree with him. I mean, you're going to watch a team like Florida and then go, we're going to take a bad Big 12 team? I mean, if you're looking at Florida right now, let's say they go 10-1 and lose a close SEC title game to Alabama. You're telling me they don't belong in a playoff?
Good play. Kansas State has scored. Yeah, Kansas State, Oklahoma now. Looks like K-State's going for 2. If you're doing a big critique, I will say that Corral's really been down the field. They haven't done a lot of short and intermediate stuff. He hasn't kind of driven the football, if you will. Hasn't been dumb by any means. He's not made bad decisions.
He's played a good game.
Yes.
I don't know why we waited till the fourth quarter to incorporate the tight end if you're Ole Miss, but boy, he's a good-looking player.
K-State kicked the extra point, 35-35 with 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter.
Oh, yeah. Too early to go for 2 there.
Yeah.
Offensively, it's the opposite of defense where you look at this and go, there's not a hell of a lot to build on. Offensively, there's a lot to kind of be excited about.
He's not down yet. Okay.
51 made the right play by hanging on. Otherwise, he's up and running.
Yeah. He's good.
Ely?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. In bigger and more physical than he gets credit for. Everybody goes, oh, he's a speedster. No, he can bang in there with you a little bit. Has great body control. He gets out of tackles.
You just described another former running back. There's Chris Vaughn's kid right there.
Is it really?
Deuce Vaughn. Yeah,
That's
how about
cool.
that? Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, I remember him when he was like 8.
I remember when he was just a little kid. Now, he could really run when he was a little kid. You're like, that kid can run.
Turns out he's a Power 5 skill player.
There you go. Yeah. Good for him. Chris and Marquette Vaughn are really good people.
What were we talking about a second ago?
How the offense, there's some things to build on. There's a lot.
We know you said we mentioned another running back. Who were you comparing it to?
Reggie Bush.
Oh, you're doing that again.
There's a lot of similarities. If you want to call him a poor man's Reggie Bush, I'm in.
I mean, okay.
Poor man's Reggie Bush gets drafted at the end of the first round. Eric says, I love the scheme. Yeah, it's a good scheme.
I do think Ely has a chance to play in the outfield this year if he wants to do that. Somebody say, can he hit a curveball? I don't know if he can hit a curveball or not.
Well, I think Lane will be more than happy for him to go play baseball.
Tread on those tires, baby.
Yeah.
Go. Enjoy.
Especially now that they've seen him on a football field after 10 games in. They don't need him at spring. Frankly, those are snaps you're better off giving to young guys.
Has the TV said anything about Henry Parrish as far as an injury or anything, guys? We're obviously doing a lot of stuff here, not always. I don't have a Ralph Webb yet for this year. No, I don't have one. There's not a underrated running back out there that I have my eye on at the moment. That's what the preseason took from us, is like me not having a Ralph Webb.
Yeah, it was a miscommunication there on the second down. I think Corral thought he was going to break out towards the flag, and he didn't. They haven't had a whole lot of those. They've been kind of on the same page.
You don't miss an 8.3 a play. Got hit as he threw it there.
Yeah. Pocket broke down on him at the last minute. Jeremy James has played a ton. I know he was listed as a starter, so but he has played a lot.
Todd hasn't lost a lot of weight during the pandemic.
No, he had a lot of those meals that we just had and didn't get on the Peloton. Any. Oh.
He's not bad.
It's fair.
Yeah, he's all right. Neal and Elijah got Lane Kiffin hired, so
We really should get more accolades than we get.
nobody even knows who that statue is out there by the Manning Center, like between that and the stadium. Just
Elijah gets more credit than I get. And I played a role.
he does have quite the dubious honor in this. Yeah, I think the Navy helmets are coming to Kentucky. I think Ole Miss is going to wear white on gray with Navy helmets against Kentucky.
Well, that'd be a uniform buzzkill.
You think so?
Yeah. I'm just being
You could
honest.
get like really good blue and white, and then Ole Miss doing what they're doing now. Instead, you're going to get.
Orr was out there, and they're going to give it to him.
Okay. Yeah, you're gonna get the Ole Miss uniforms you probably don't like, and then Kentucky's gonna break out some black and chrome model for their home opener.
And after this game, where both teams are bringing the smoke, Kentucky's going to wear the chrome, and Ole Miss is going to wear that gray. When Ole Miss could wear
you want a powder pant.
I want a powder pant and a white top with the blue stripes. Then I want Kentucky to come out in that clean blue jersey with the white pant with the blue stripe.
They need a black. Do you care about the blue or the white helmet, or they can do either
the
one?
The blue helmet with either the UK or the K. Either way, it's fine. Just a clean blue helmet.
You don't want the white helmet?
I'm fine with the white helmet, too.
Fine.
White helmet's fine. But no chrome or pewter or black.
They call that a sack?
No, I think Florida called timeout.
What's 3rd and 19?
Oh, they must have called it a sack. I don't know. He might have his butt may have been on the ground by the time he got rid of the ball.
Okay. If you had to buy a stock in one of them, you picking Pittman or Drinkwitz?
Probably Drinkwitz.
To do what Missouri does?
I guess. If I tell you can be the head coach at Arkansas or Missouri, which one do you choose?
Missouri.
Yeah, I think so too.
Begrudgingly.
Yeah.
I'm mad at myself either way.
You could be the basketball coach at Arkansas or Missouri, you pick Arkansas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was fool's gold that Missouri's a basketball school. The SEC didn't quite get the promise of that they were told.
I think he was down before the fumble anyway. No, they're calling it a touchdown. That's going to come.
I mean, whatever.
Whatever. Can we stop with the Matt Corral bashing officially after today? Can we pin this on who it needs to be pinned on now? Can we do that? Is that fair? Are we allowed to do that now? Have we seen enough body of work? No, he's down. No, actually, I don't know. That's close.
I mean, if it's called back, he's down at the half-inch line.
Regardless, Ole Miss just put, let's call it 36 points. Let's say they get the PAT for kicks and giggles. 36 points and had a touchdown.
For kicks and giggles. That's good.
There you go.
All right.
I mean, you don't write for a living for nothing. Let's say that happens, though, and a touchdown was called back on a. It's the third time that I'm talking about someone's butt on a TV, but his butt's down before the
hand is not down, guy. An elbow is down.
No, but his butt's down,
yeah.
And so he's down right there at the 1 yard line.
Yeah,
that's 4 butt references in one show.
He's down at the 1.
Let's say they get in here, or even if they don't. This was a guy that last year won the starting job. They took him to SEC Media Days. They made him the face of the program. He got hurt. They benched him. They put in another guy because they were trying to market that guy. They were trying to save their jobs with that guy. This kid lost all of his confidence, and here he is today playing against a very good Florida team. And he's no Kyle Trask yet, but he's had a hell of a day, Chase. I don't know his exact numbers. I'll pull them up in a little bit, but he's had a hell of a day.
20 of 27, 354 and 3.
Connor's in. So they're going to get 35 points at least today.
Yeah.
What's his numbers again?
20 of 27 for 354 and 3.
I mean, damn. Can we stop this? We're not doing a quarterback controversy conversation anymore. It was over weeks ago. Lane Kiffin, for reasons that I'm sure he has, humored everybody, but it's over. And it's nothing against Plumlee. He's a great kid and he plays really hard, but he can't do this offensively. Your offense can't be as diverse as this offense is if John Rice Plumlee is your quarterback. And Corral's made plays with his feet today.
If anything, I don't like that play because you risk getting him hurt right there.
Yeah.
That seemed.
How many yards does Ole Miss have? Give that up by chance?
Yeah. 571.
571 yards of offense against Florida.
642 for Florida.
Yeah.
Ole Miss is now thrown for 402 yards. Because Drummond had that long pass.
Oh, yeah. What was their max throwing the football last year?
I don't know without looking at it.
Wasn't that? Yeah, you onside kick it here. Right? I think Ole Miss got it.
Yep.
Well, Vegas is
Go
interested
down and
in
get a
this.
score right here. Hey, Lane, you know the line? A field goal wouldn't suck.
Well, you're asking a lot right now. Unless you can get the other kid to come over and kick.
Hey, can we borrow him for
Yeah.
a minute?
You know we're not going to win. Can we borrow him just for a minute to kick?
I got to score, get it again.
Auburn won in a final 29-13.
That's a cover.
Over Kentucky, yeah. Auburn covers. And would have covered a bigger line, obviously.
K-State just took the lead on Oklahoma.
I'm Lincoln Riley. I'm going to go ahead and take that NFL gig everybody tells me I'm going to get.
Okay.
Yeah, I just think there's a lot to build on. Again, our thanks to Rafters, by the way. I just heard from Kennedy from Rafters, making sure that we liked everything. It was great. Highly recommend that you go to Rafters. There's a lot of selections there to choose from. Zydeco shrimp, the crawfish egg rolls, the catfish, the burgers, the sandwiches. It was all there. Really appreciate the people at Rafters for taking care of us today. Great stuff. We've got we'll have the bourbon of the week in the hand raise guys. Got a package from Cathead. You get to see me model some Blue Delta jeans.
Our store is open. I'll change shirts in a minute for that.
Ooh.
Is that Yoba? And
Oh, yeah, and that's not good.
he's okay, I think, but it was kind of
Got bent funny.
yeah. He's all right, but
He's hurting.
we went back down. What we're going to do is we will do the same thing we did earlier. Between the pregame and the current game, we will stop. We will then start a new stream because we need to get the podcast machine up and running for that one. And
we'll probably take about a half hour is my guess. About right? About a half hour? Tops, yeah.
Maybe not.
Maybe 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And we'll come back and we'll start hand raise guys. Get Chase on with Jeffrey, and I'll finish my work. And we'll just bring you the Zoom stuff when Ole Miss puts it up available. We'll put it on our YouTube and get that to you.
K-State up 38-35 currently in other games. Cincinnati and Army just now kicking.
Yeah, I just looked at the clock. It's 2:31, so probably about to get started in Baton Rouge too. He was pretty silent in the first half, but he's had a heck of a second half for the Rebels. Yeah, Yeboah.
Lane likes getting tight ends involved. That's one of his.
Sure.
That's one of his hallmarks.
Florida International is beating Liberty 28-27 late in the third.
Yeah, call him out. We got a little work to do here. Let's go.
Kyle Trask, 30 of 42 for 416 and 6.
I guess that's fine.
Sam Pittman on the field at Arkansas. Sam has not missed a meal during his time at Fayetteville.
Yes, sir.
He has. He's had his share of the barbecue.
Man. It's almost like they hire that. You had Brett.
Yeah, big guys.
Pittman's done a good job with staff. I will give him that. I don't know overall what I think about it, but it's a long-winded way to say that, Greg. Hey, I'm gonna get a play. Stop the clock.
Yeah, you are gonna get a shot at it.
I'm gonna get one or two here. Don't you go ahead and call the timeout now and then just throw into the end zone?
Yeah, because I might get two shots.
Because they're gonna. Yeah, you got to call it now.
+200 receiving yards for Elijah Moore. 12 targets, 10 catches, 227 yards. That's not bad.
Ole Miss now at 613 total yards on the day.
I don't know what the over-under was on yards, but I think the over won.
Yeah, that's what I said. You get the ball to your best players. Lane said, we got Elijah Moore. We're going to throw Elijah Moore the ball. That's what we're going to do.
Yeah, he got it a lot.
And Corral likes Elijah. He looks for it. It's by far a first read for Matt. He's been that way his whole career.
3 years, yeah.
Yeah.
Good play call. Just 5 made a good play.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
This play does have a little repercussion somewhere.
Got money riding on this play.
Literally.
Yeah.
He had it.
Yeah, it just didn't make a very good throw right there.
Yeah. 51-35 Florida over Ole Miss. Again, looking at it, 613 for the Rebels, 642 for Florida. Appreciate everybody really hanging around, especially during the halftime break there as we took a little time off. Again, we'll take, I'd say 20, 25 minutes is probably about right.
Okay.
Somewhere in there. If we go to 30, we go to 30. But just kind of hang out. You'll have a new thread. You'll subscribe, hit the bell. Because you hit the bell, you'll get the notification when we go live. We'll give you a rundown on that. And then we'll put it all over the social media and the message board. So enjoyed it, and we'll come back for the post game very soon.